What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday, 2+ hours nonstop. MLB DFS conversation. It starts right now, taking you up all the way to first pitch, all the way up the lock. Note that doubleheader today, FanDuel did drop the back half of the Boston-Baltimore game that is on DK. If you missed it, Boston absolutely shellacked. They pummeled the Orioles. They dropped like a 10 spot or so, something like that, out in the 8th inning. And I think they closed up the game with a shortstop pitching or something like that. Devers banged out a couple homers. That game is on the DK slate. Of course, no lineups for that just yet because that game is just now ending. But I'm somewhat bearing the lead here. It's a Film Friday. That's the lead. Everybody knows about Film Friday. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Jump in the Discord. Tell me what film I'm talking about as we drop clues throughout the show. We'll go ahead and let's award, the people that show up on time. What's up, chat? Kindly hit that like button, do subscribe, turn on those notifications, hit all those buttons, hit all those things, hit everything. The first clue for Film Friday, as I introduced my co-host, you guys know Chop, two-time millionaire winner. First clue is hey. Hey is the first clue. Chop, happy Friday. How are things?
We're here. We're ready to rock and roll. A little Friday action. Going to put in some MLB rosters, watch a little NBA playoffs, watch a little movie night. I don't know what's out there. I need some maybe some people from chat or somebody can throw some what's anything new out there that I can check out or something. I haven't really gotten a chance to look today, but gonna do it all, D. Gonna pick up a little fish for dinner. I like a little fish. You gotta have some salmon every once in a while. Say it's good for your brain. So
salmon.
Yeah. Salmon, yeah. Like Tim Salmon.
Yeah, Tim Salmon. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a good deal. Ready to rock and roll, man.
All right. Maybe people in chat can throw some movie suggestions your way. I'll just tell you a couple of recent ones. Juror number 2 was really good. I'm not sure if that's still streaming on Max, but I thought that was excellent. And I just did a quick Google to remind me. And My Old Ass was very good on Amazon. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Oh, I've seen them both, man.
Okay. Did you like them?
Yeah. Yeah, they were good. Okay. Yeah. Certainly worth the view. Derek is saying an Earnhardt document. Is that Dale Earnhardt? If it's Dale Earnhardt document, I'm passing. Like movie night's
on
not
both. I think it's on both.
Movie night's not a documentary night. Movie night's a movie night, not a documentary. Did you, by the way, D? Last night I wrapped up Shooting Guards on Netflix about Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton.
Is that good?
Yeah, man, it was good.
Great title, by the way. Great title for the documentary. Yeah,
I didn't know a lot of that. I knew about the big incident, but I didn't know a lot of the details. So
that's all I know too. It's worth
to watch. Oh yeah, interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, I just know like the main headline. I don't really know much as far as the details as well. Oh yeah, the new Mission Impossible opens up today. You got to put pants on for that though. You can't watch that at home. You got to watch that on the big screen anyway. But yeah, if you can sneak out of the house, it's probably worth watching that as well. Shout out to Jim in chat who said he watched Two for the Money recently, which is, kind of it's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie with McConaughey and Pacino about sports gambling pitchmen, I suppose. You've seen Two for the Money, right? I imagine you have.
Yeah, I've seen it, and it's a good movie. I thought it was good, but there's one particular scene in there. I'm not saying it really hits home, but it can really speak to you if you've spent a lot of time gambling in your life. Like it's when Pacino goes into the addict meeting, gambler's addiction meeting, and he gives his soliloquy or whatever it is. It hits home, man. That hits home for some people. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
yeah, no, I've seen the movie before for sure. By the way, I see. So we have producer TJ today. I see another commenter in chat, Agents of Fandom. I don't know who that is.
That one time I was messing, that you thought I was messing with you, wasn't actually me. Somebody else was on it.
That's so funny.
But, this time I was uploading a video earlier and I forgot to switch back to my profile.
I was suggesting a movie from a year and a half ago, and that's too stale for TJ. TJ's like, that's so...
Chop's watching a new movie every Friday. You can't hit him with one that came out early 2024. You got to hit him with something new.
Well, I mean, look, sometimes some movies fall through the cracks and you just never see them. And it's been he's probably backed up. So
My Old Ass is a great movie, though. I'll back you up there. It's a fantastic movie.
It's very good. Surprisingly, I thought it was. I thought it would just be like kind of like just a fine, but it was excellent. Thoroughly enjoy. Aubrey Plaza. She doesn't star in it, but she's in it. Definitely recommend that one as well. But Chop, yeah. First clue is scrolling. Get the Discord. Hey is the first clue. Do want to say what's up to chat and yeah, not a lot of nonsense. No nonsense. So crunch time. We got beer coming in about an hour and change. Chief mineralogist Kevin Roth. TJ spinning all the plates today. Not only is he producing, he's also going to be giving some analysis in about an hour and change. Let me go ahead and drop Ross' weather report in chat. Weather report here, by the way. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's kind of raining. So apologies if you're hearing that. Nothing especially dicey. It is yellow for the Mets. Scattered showers possible. Ross says his hope is basically they're going to play through any rain there. Green, yellow in St. Louis. Straight green in Detroit. Yellow, orange for Game 2, Baltimore, Boston, DK only. So you want to be, aware of this stuff. But as far as I can tell, nothing freaking me out. I'm not changing anything right now when it comes to, weather. You mentioned basketball, Chop. Did you have any takeaways as far as New York, Indiana? That was, just bonkers. Were you watching it still? Were you still on the game? Did you give up on it? Yeah.
So I was. It's one of those. We were watching. I'll probably The Voice or something, season finale or something. I forget what it was. We were watching that night. Maybe it was American Idol season finale. And I was glancing at it on my iPad, and because I had actually had Indiana on a teaser. So I was just like, please get back within 10, I didn't.
Yeah.
And so I was watching that because of that aspect of it. Didn't think they were going to. And then all of a sudden I'm looking like, damn, these dudes they're making it closer. Okay, I got the 10. The teaser's in the bag now. We're good.
Yeah. Just don't go to overtime.
Yeah, then they're inching. And I was like, oh, man. And then when they had the ball with the last shot, when the Halliburton shot, we're just watching the show and we're just in our own zones watching the American Idol. And Halliburton shot. He backtracked to the three-point line, shot it. It hit that back iron, Kawhi-esque, right? Like Kawhi-esque type of shot. Hit that back iron, went about 30 feet in the air. And when it went through the hoop, I just yelled, oh, my God. Because it's just one of those things. That's what sports do to you, They get you like that.
Yeah.
They get you like
so
that.
did Larry David. You see Larry David's reaction?
I scared the hell out of my wife. She doesn't like that when I do that. But I was like, this shot he just made, it was unbelievable. And so and then they went to OT. And, I'd say it was one of those things, but it, crazy flukish and all that, but that's the third time Indiana's done that in the playoffs this year. Literally the third time. I think I read a stat that other teams trailing by 7 points with a minute or less left in the game are 1 in 1,987 or something like that. And they've done it 3 times in these playoffs. Bizarro. They might be a team of destiny, Dean. They might be a team of destiny, man.
Well, have you heard of OKC? They're a team of really, really good.
We're gonna see really, really good, maybe versus destiny. We'll see because Indiana. But Indiana's. Sorry, I hate to tell you, I hate to break the news to you guys, but Indiana's actually really good themselves. Since January the 1st, they've had the best record in basketball. I don't know how much that means, but they've pieced it together and they got. I'm just trying to figure out one's a really good offense, really, really good offense. One's a really great defense.
No. OKC's both.
Well, that's debatable.
No, it's not a debatable.
When I say
the numbers will
when I say Indiana's a really great offense, they're fantastic offense. And OKC's a great defense, fantastic defense. But OKC's offense can get bogged down sometimes, depending on Shea to draw fouls. Sometimes when they're kind of like Boston in a way that when that three-point shot isn't falling for the role players, they could be in trouble offensively. Indiana they have a lot of different weapons offensively. It's tough for them to go into prolonged slumps with the way they get out in transition, and they got a lot of different players. No, they don't depend on one guy on offense like SGA is the one guy. I don't know. It would be a good series if that's what it is. I'm certainly not leaving the Knicks for dead. They could win.
New York's not dead. They're not dead.
But it was good. It's good. That's what a great game, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. OKC, by the way, the third best offense this year, and the best defense by far when you look at the metrics. Indiana 9 or 8, just for the record. And I'll just say this before we move on. I can't take a team seriously. I can't do it when you're playing Thomas Bryant meaningful minutes in the fourth quarter. I can't do it. I cannot think of, like, he would be the 14th player in OKC, if that.
Actually, Dean,
I cannot.
I don't think that's the point of that play. And I take something different from that. I take it that first of all, Rick Carlisle as a coach,
he's a great coach.
He's very underrated. Like, he's won championships outside of Indiana, right? Like, he knows what he's doing. So I took it as he looked at what was happening with Miles Turner and said, we can't do it. We're not going to win. So he pulled the plug so fast on Miles Turner in the fourth quarter. It actually gave Indiana a chance. So I give him credit for that. I think that's more of just a really rock solid move by the coach, as opposed to running Miles Turner out there and all of a sudden you'll be down by 25 if you keep him out there for another 3 minutes. So credit to Rick Carlisle for that one. But then he got rid of Thomas Bryant real quick and really made a mismatch nightmare with Obi Toppin in the late fourth quarter and overtime. So they got weapons, man.
Andrew Vaughn was optioned. I saw Seth Brown was let go by the Athletics as well. Ronald Acuna is back too. So shout out to Ronald Acuna. If you're in the season-long streets, get excited about that. Of course, you can play him in DFS as well. We don't have a Yankee lineup just yet. The Yankees just, 7.5 total. 7.5 team total in Colorado. Locked in for 9 against Tanner Gordon, who's not, anything special. Aaron Judge is 7K on DK. 7K. He can homer and still kind of be like not worthwhile. Solo home run, 1 for 5, 14 points. In the words of Dave Potts, cheese is good. Whoop-de-doo. Like, who cares? Whatever. And that's one of the big decision points on the slates. Aaron Judge, the Yankees as a whole. My thought process here, Chop, and this is my general rule. One of my mantras is just like, and this is proven, arms are more predictable than bats. They just are. And I like my chances of finding a cheaper bat greater than I like my chances of finding a cheaper arm that will be useful. Therefore, we live in the world of a salary cap. You can't have both. You can't load up on the Yankees and get Chris Sale and get Zach Wheeler. You can't do that, Chop. So you got to make some decisions. You got to make some tough decisions. I think there's enough pivot away from the Yankees. Phillies playing against the Athletics. Good ballpark there. It's unfortunate their two best hitters are facing left on left. I like the Rays a good bit. On DK, you got Baltimore and Boston, Giolito and Charlie Morton, who's been an absolute disaster, playing the back half of their doubleheader, 9.5 total. I mentioned Tampa. They're expected to play in 90-degree winds, the wind blowing out as well. Eric Lauer, walk guy, fly ball guy historically. Tampa's one of my favorite teams, if not my favorite team you consider salary. And then there's Texas. They've been mostly disappointing this year, but they're really cheap, especially on FanDuel. Taking on Sean Burke, one of the worst bullpens behind him, locked in for 9 in Chicago. So that's the way I'm attacking this slate. Curious to get your thoughts. Yankees are a big decision point. I'm curious the ownership stuff because, again, salary cap concerns, but I'm first spending up for arms, meaning I'm probably not going to get to Aaron Judge in the majority of my lineups. What say you? How do you see this slate?
So typically I think like total base props. I've come to like the math on them doesn't check out for me. I don't like doing them. I'd rather find another prop. Like hit run RBI, I think is better. If you like a hitter, total bases, I don't like his total bases tonight.
Judge,
2+, like minus 200. Never seen anything like that. That's
crazy.
It might be.
They don't bump it up to 2.5 or just a homer. It doesn't matter.
No, I don't. I think it's like 2+. I don't know. I'm not the like DraftKings sportsbook expert or anything because I don't have that. But I just look at the prop sites. But I think I saw somebody say that there's a prop for him to home run this weekend at some point at some ridiculous odds. I don't know, man. That's a tough one, Dean. That's the point right there where you got to decide where your roster is going to go. Are you going to have a good pitcher or are you going to have Aaron Judge? It's a tough one because
I don't think it's that tough. Maybe I'm being naive.
Well, I definitely think it's a lot more difficult than what you give it credit for. Just because we'll talk about the pitchers in a minute. There's a lot of different ways you can go and even save a little money and get Aaron Judge in your lineup. And hitting is so difficult to find a lot of times. Like there's no guarantees, like you said, in hitting. So when you get a guy who's like this overwhelmingly, such a good spot, and all the odds out there are telling you this is a really good offensive spot here for him. I think he's probably not going to fail your lineup. I don't know if he's probably not going to fail you in a GPP. He may not win it for you at this salary, but he probably won't fail. I don't know, just a fail-proof spot for a hitter is tough to come by. I'm not saying that this is it, but I think it's a bigger decision than what you're giving out here, because it's the best hitter in the game, batting 400, everything, and he's in this spot in this stadium. The weather is fine. It's not like the weather is bringing the stadium back to normal. It's actually, all things considered, pretty neutral weather-wise tonight, which means it's fantastic because it's Coors Field. And you get I don't want to say a gas can pitching against you, but nothing Gordon's done shows me he's ready to take on Aaron Judge. It's just a great spot. I don't know, man. I'm running one lineup on each site. No, I'm not. I'm running one on DraftKings and 150 on FanDuel.
Oh.
I don't know, man. DraftKings, I might be playing Aaron Judge. I haven't built one yet, but
I've got $7K. So
I got some pitchers. I got some, but there's 12 games, and there's when I started to do the stack rankings, there's a whole lot of ones and twos, especially two stacks, tier. So, which means there's a lot of cheap hitters that are in great spots too. So I can put him on there with some other great hitters, and I don't know. We'll talk about pitching in a minute, but I feel pretty good about some guys outside of Zach Wheeler's price range.
Yeah, let's talk about that as far as pitchers. We did get some guesses here in the Discord channel for today's Film Friday. It is not Young Frankenstein or Rocky or Happy Gilmore or Son-in-Law or Twister or Seabiscuit. Twister's a good guess, though. I like that guess based upon the clue. It is not Twister. Chop, you did not get your guess in, but let's go ahead and drop the second clue as we move on. We got 5 in total. If we need more, we'll give more. I don't think we will. It's also not Brokeback Mountain as a guest here in the Discord as well. But the second clue, as we talk about some pitchers, is France. France is our second clue. Hay and France. That's our first 2 clues. Yeah, you mentioned Wheeler, Chop. Wheeler, best pitcher, tough ballpark there with the Athletics, but there's still plenty of strikeouts in that matchup. He's the best pitcher on the slate. If you look at skill set, I think we're going to, maybe Chris Sale. I would say he's ahead of Sale if you look at the season-long stats, but if you want to say Sale is better, of course, he's taken on San Diego. San Diego, just really, really contact heavy. I like Sale too. And he can, when he's on, he's just like a one of one on the left-hand side. He's deadly, but they're really pesky there on the San Diego side. Wheeler, Sale, Pablo Lopez taking on a Kansas City team. I was looking at Kansas City's numbers, and we know they've been disappointed this year, but very contact heavy this season. I believe versus righties, no team as far as active roster has a lower K number. So, Kansas City from a run perspective is not way scary, but they are making a lot of contact. Talk about that up top. Wheeler, Sale, Pablo Lopez. You could pick on the Marlins if you want to pick on the Marlins with Kikuchi. Where are you at as far as pitchers? And then Tyler Mahle has been outrageous this season. Pitching above his head. If you look at the advanced stuff, he's due for some the old regression monster, a 1.47 ERA. Good for him. That's fabulous. But a 2.22 BABIP, almost an 88% left on base. It adds up to a 4.3 Sierra. But he's facing the White Sox. And I guess Andrew Vaughn is not good enough to stick around on that team. They just got rid of him. So maybe if somebody picks him up, who knows? I think it was demoted to AAA, actually. So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, Chop, pitchers, we got a bunch to talk about. Who do you want to highlight?
Yeah. So the first one I would start off with, as far as Zach Wheeler, I'm not as high on Zach Wheeler as sounds like as you are. I think that it's at the Sacramento ballpark that they play in.
Yeah.
It's really a hitter-friendly park. And so it tells me something when Vegas has assigned the Oakland or Athletics team total at 4. That's not a typical team run line, team total against Zach Wheeler. It's usually much lower than that. So that gives me red flags right there. and it's a pretty good lineup. The only thing they really lack on that team is pitching, so they get into these shootouts at this small ballpark. I'm just not as high on Zach Wheeler. I think he's a fine play if you want to play that route, but I'm not as high on him. I'm a lot higher on Chris Sale going against San Diego, and you save a little money there. I like that one. You just want me? What do you want me to do? Run down all the ones I really like.
I just want to note, by the way, it looks like Jacob Lopez is starting today for the Athletics. Was he in AAA? Yeah, he was in AAA. He was just recalled. Last time we saw him was about a month ago or so. He's also a lefty. I don't think this is an opener situation. I think this Jeffrey Springs is not starting and not playing. But we'll keep you updated. I was thinking we can all of a sudden get Philly versus a righty. I don't know much about Jacob Lopez. And I saw somebody in chat talking about Schwarber doesn't care left on left. And yeah, Schwarber just annihilates, doesn't discriminate. I think he's at the most homers this season versus left-handers. Just been outrageous so far. And when he gets it, it still counts the same. It should count for more. But the ones he hits are just they're just towering. They're completely insane. But yeah, it's not going to be.
Would you say that you maybe get an extra half a run if the distance is X amount of feet? Would you say that?
What about putting like some targets out there? You know, just you remember back in the day, the old MTV baseball Rock and Jock, and they had like cows in the outfield and things of that sort. Give me some targets, and maybe that can make it interesting. I know the traditionalists would lose their minds, so they would be out, so offended. But that could be fun, right? They do it for the home run derby. I know that's not really a game, but
so you want to turn the MLB into Rock and Jock?
Why
MTV
not?
Rock. Okay,
you got to get on TikTok. You got to get on TikTok somehow. I don't know.
Well,
you don't think it'd be fun though? Like, oh, he just missed the bullseye by 2 feet. That could have been huge. Imagine a walk off when you're down. You go like a walk off hitting the bullseye, like manufacturing excitement. I'm all on for that.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. But
what was your idea? You presented.
No. I asked you if you would like to add like an extra half run value to home runs that are over 500 feet or 475 feet or something like that.
I like targets more than.
Yeah, you go like that's too much because
what's built in.
Yeah, that's too.
It's
much.
like 480 feet anyway. And you can get some sponsorship.
Okay. Anyway, Jug Nation rise up. Juggalo leader Kirk Deese is in chat. Also, what up to Butthole? He's out there. So we like to have them all tune in on a Friday afternoon. Zach Wheeler, not a huge fan of. Pablo Lopez. I'll go in order of salary here of the guys I like. I like Pablo Lopez against Casey. We've talked about it before. That offense, not particularly appealing as far as the run production. So I think Pablo's in a pretty good spot there for 9,900. Tyler Mahle, he's pitching over his head probably, but
for sure.
But I mean, you keep serving him up these nice matchups.
The White Sox.
You got to keep playing him. So why not one more shot? Even though he's a little bit priced up, he won't make my DraftKings team, but he got to be in consideration just because of the matchup and the way he has pitched this year. And then I talked about Chris Sale. He's 94. That's one of my favorites as far as, he's pretty good salary here. The matchup is debatable, but I don't think San Diego's hitting the ball particularly well right now. You get a 3.2 implied team total against you. It says he should be able to control the runs a little bit in this game, and we know he can strike guys out. So I'm good with Chris Sale. And we start getting into some guys under 9K that I can start to use and maybe help myself if I want to get Judge in there. I start off with Zach Gallen. I like this. I like Zach Gallen tonight. I think he's a decent pitcher, a solid pitcher. I think the ballpark / weather in the ballpark is conducive to the pitchers today. So I think Zach Gallen is in play, and I don't mind that against that St. Louis lineup, which is okay but not great. Now we get into some guys that are going to save a little bit more money, but obviously a little bit riskier, but I don't mind it. I don't mind. Kikuchi. I'm going to start off with Kikuchi, 8,200. Miami. Yeah. So that lineup is interesting. They're not as bad as they have been in years past, but they're still not like good. They're still not great. I think there's some win equity there for him going against Alcantara, who we'll talk about later on, but he has not been good at all. So there's some win equity there for Kikuchi. But he, even when he has a poor game, run wise. It's run preventions that get him. This guy strikes people out though. He's got good strikeout stuff. So kind of, I can hunt down some strikeouts with Kikuchi, and if he can prevent runs, then he's a tournament winning type of pitcher. If he gives up a few runs, he usually offsets it with a handful with plenty of strikeouts. So I like Kikuchi in this matchup tonight. So got a couple sleepers for you here, Dean.
And I'm going to guess one. Can I guess one of your so-called sleepers?
Well, I don't know if he's a sleeper, but go ahead. You know who it is.
I'm not sure. Well, is Clark Schmidt a sleeper? No, it's probably Noah Cameron. Is that your sleeper?
Oh, actually, no. But I think there's merit to both of those guys, too. They're a little bit cheaper, and there's merit to both of those guys. Clark Schmidt, man, I don't want to. What's TJ got?
TJ's got a sleeper.
I have a prediction for your sleeper.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if it's the same as my sleeper.
Sleeper, I don't know if one of them is kind of off the radar, one of them not so much. But
it's somebody in the Seattle-Houston game.
No, but what's
that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Hancock tonight just because he aggressively makes ground balls to right-handed pitchers or right-handed batters, and that's what Houston is. So that's my sleeper gross shot that I'm taking tonight.
I was going to suggest Alcantara, and I know Chop kind of referenced him. It's so bad, but he's been so unlucky too. He's been really unlucky.
Yeah.
Left on base is 53%, Chop. 53%. Come on, that's outrageous. The walks, of course, are not acceptable. 12%. The strikeouts haven't been there, but he's been unlucky when it comes to the swinging strike rate, and the K is only 17%. It should be higher. And the ground balls are awesome. If he gets BABIP on his side, 50% ground balls this year. Homer to fly ball at 17% in that ballpark. In his home ballpark. He's better than an 8 ERA pitcher, which isn't saying anything. But who are your sleepers? Who am I missing?
First one that I really like is Jackson Jobe. I think he's cheap enough, and I don't know. I kind of dig. I think he's got a good repertoire, and he'll be all right. And I don't mind the matchup. Cleveland, not quite the same team we've seen in years past that doesn't strike out and stuff. They'll strike out. I kind of like Jackson Jobe here. He's got potential in the long run. It's cheap. The other one was the one that was really kind of just popped up for me at the last minute. It's Slade Ciccione, Dean. Slade Ciccione.
He's got such a cooler name than Ciccone, so much cooler, isn't it?
Ciccone, okay. Ciccone, my bad. Yeah, I kind of dig this. Detroit's they've definitely improved on offense this year, but there's still strikeouts to be had. I think I ran the numbers earlier.
Also, no Riley Green for Detroit.
Yeah, there's a few strikeouts. There's not a ton of power without Riley Green. There's only one or two hitters that really scare me. He's coming back from I think this is his second start of the season. He's not bad. I kind of dig him tonight, man. I think there's some potential to save a little money there, and against Detroit, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, Dingler is batting cleanup there for Detroit. They're really insistent on doing the. Well, not even that. I thought it was they could do the left-right thing was the Torkelson. Torkelson did not jump up to the 4 spot. It is Dingler in the 4 spot there. I guess no Baltimore and Boston just yet. No Yankees, and of course the West Coast stuff. No Marlins, no Phillies, no Athletics. We did get the Angels. Neto just will not stop. Ward will not stop as well. Ohapi, the Angels. I want to say they've won 7 in a row. So shout out to the Angels taking on Sandy Alcantara. Do see some people in the Discord channel firing off some guesses. It is not the Dark Tower or the Promise. Do I know what the Promise is? I'm not sure if I know what that is. It's not Saving Private Ryan or Chop Spinoff he referenced the other day, or Moulin Rouge, or Talladega Nights. I see what you're doing there with Talladega Nights. Correct. The third clue. Let's go ahead and drop that. The third clue is against. And Chop, you have not submitted a guess just yet in our little private chat, so you're way behind. Against is our third clue. Give me the summary as far as pictures. Is there anybody else we should acknowledge? By the way, the chat was telling me I should just go to a Savannah Bananas game if I want to watch some silliness and some nonsense. That's huge. They're selling out, football stadiums. Apparently, a lot of people love that. I've seen stuff on it, but I've seen I guess TikTok or shorts, whatever you want to call it. It's a big deal, apparently, and it's quicker games. They have their own set of rules. Are you aware of the Savannah Bananas, Chop?
Yeah, they're like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. They just get out there and do crazy stuff. And, some of it looks like, man, how the hell do they do that? It's interesting. I wouldn't want to sit through that garbage, though. But, I mean, to each his own,
It seems like a fun thing,
Yeah, let
don't
them,
take it too
it's
seriously.
good for the kids. Good for the kids.
A night out for the family. Why not?
Yeah. Not for me, though. But, yeah, I get it. I'm aware of them. Yeah. But the summary here, Dean, and I get 3 guesses, by the way. I'm going to run off 3 guesses here in a minute, back to back to back. But right now, I got to concentrate on pitching. Summary, so you can spend up on Zach Wheeler, probably cost yourself Aaron Judge. So you got to that's the decision point you got to make right there. But I'm not as high on Zach Wheeler as the general public tonight. I like Pablo. I like Chris Sale, Zach Gallen. If you want to save a little money, you can chase some Ks with Kikuchi. If you want to save a lot of money, I think we can get a quality start out of Jackson Jobe and Slade Ciccone.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, however you want to say it.
Slade Ciccone, I think you can get a quality start out of them. And it's the classic 2v2 is all it is. Is one of those cheaper guys like that. Oh, well, we got a Yankees lineup. No Bellinger. Ben Rice batting third.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dang. Okay.
Was he one of your was he a knocker?
No, but I think I did some player props earlier. And so now those will all be voided out, basically.
You better not pinch hit, right? I know sometimes they
hit
you.
Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that.
That's the worst.
That's garbage.
It is garbage. Depending on the book. I think depending on the book.
Not good. So, like the classic 2v2 is Zach Wheeler plus, I don't know who you're going to play, Tatis or somebody like that. Going to outperform my cheaper pitcher, Jackson Jobe, plus Aaron Judge. I don't, that's the decision point you got to make. I'm more inclined to go cheaper pitching tonight, but I think there's a lot of guys, and we vaguely talked about a guy like Clark Schmidt, Noah Cameron, Drew Rasmussen. These guys, I think there's merit to playing any of these guys tonight.
I like the skill set of Rasmussen. I'm just a little bit concerned. Again, that weather, it's 90 degrees in Tampa, and I imagine it's humid.
It's a bad ballpark for hitting tonight. Pitching, for pitchers, it's a bad ballpark for pitchers.
I bet Tampa first 5 over 2.5, and I think I bet him for the game as well over 4.5. Was it? I hit some of the alts as well. Tampa, spoiler, is one of my favorites. Offenses tonight. They're also really cheap too, so they kind of help you get some stuff. They are facing a lefty, which is a little bit tricky because they are one of the more pinch hit happy teams. A lefty, it's not going to go very deep. Lauer probably goes like 75 pitches, 5 innings, something like that, whatever comes first. But they did start some of their lefties too, and Lauer is also sort of reverse splitsy or neutral historically. Chop It is not Inglorious Bastards. For the record, it has actually been guessed. We actually did get a winner 3 guesses in, so shout out to Moki there in chat. Also being told here in the live stream chats from Babslab that apparently the Savannah Bananas sold out 4 games in Kauffman Stadium. Better than the Royals. Better than the Royals, I imagine, at least in a small sample. So, yeah, and it's promoting baseball, which is good. It's not Les Miserables as well, Chop It. Keep firing away. Keep firing away. We'll drop those next 2 clues to those that are still playing. We do officially have a winner. Okay. I don't see the Yankees lineup for the record. Where did I miss it? Did it just come out? I can't find it, but I guess we'll talk about it soon enough. I'll take your word for it.
Secret source. Yeah, source texted it to me as a Yankees beat writer. Texted it to me.
Grisham, Judge, Rice, Goldie, Dominguez, Volpe, Wells, DJ LeMahieu. Is that a revenge game for DJ LeMahieu? Is he still upset? I don't know if he ever was. And Vivas in the 9 hole there. Still waiting for the Marlins, the Phillies, the Athletics. No Boston or Baltimore, unless I missed it. Have those come out? I think we ruled out Bregman, so maybe that's just somebody making a call or they saw something somewhere. But I don't think we're anticipating him cracking the lineup if it's not come out just yet. Again, back half a doubleheader. Only
Bregman left the first game with injury.
Did not see that. Okay, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention, Dean?
Well, I did not. It was like 1 game, and I didn't. Yeah, I was doing content stuff.
Yeah, he's cooked. He's going to be out for a while.
Oh, it's a serious deal? I didn't see that.
I mean, no, I don't want to say serious, but small soft tissue injuries and Bregman do not get along. And he hit one off the wall, tried to round first, grabbed his hamstring, immediately signaled to the bench. So he's probably out for weeks. That would be my guess. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not Dr. Chow. Let me just put it like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but if you just tweet your opinion out, anybody can be a doctor if you want to be. Just go ahead and give your opinion. Just as much validity as anybody else. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about our stacks here in a second. Today's tiers list. You asked me what we should do. You kind of hit me up earlier in the day. It is not Da Vinci Code. We'll go ahead and drop that fourth clue. Those are still playing. Italy. So it's Hey, France, Against, and Italy. That's our first 4 clues. Today is the last day of Around the Horn. And I don't know who watches Around the Horn. I don't watch a lot of the talking head stuff. I'm not sure if you do either, Chop. But it's a legacy show. It's around for like 23 years or something like that. They had almost 5,000 shows. Tony Reale seems like a great dude. And all the cast of characters, a lot of people have their careers elevated through that show. Canceled. Today is the last day for it. So did want to homage Around the Horn. Did you watch Around the Horn? Did you watch Around the Horn? Did you watch PTI? Did you watch any of that stuff? Is that First Take? Is that it's not really for me, but I'm not saying it's one of the better versions of that, I would say, from what I've seen. But I don't know. Is this something that you watch? Ever?
I mean, I used to watch a little ESPN, some of the talk shows back in the day. I thought they were a little bit better, so I watched it back in the day. A little bit. Everything kind of got so awkward and weird on that station that no, I don't watch First Take, or I don't mind Get Up with Greenberg. That's a pretty decent show.
Is that Fox? I don't know.
I haven't watched Around the Horn.
Sports?
I haven't watched Around the Horn in how long has it been around? 23 years, you said?
23 years. More episodes than Oprah, more episodes than Letterman. And TJ says Around the Horn and PTI helped raise me. And that was me too. Like coming up from school, you just sort of like knew they were going to be there. They're always, and I don't even like watch them
on every day, like right when you get home from school, and it was like the parents aren't home yet. Grab my after school snack and watch some Around the Horn and PTI.
Yeah, just
TJ was a latchkey. He was a latchkey kid. TJ was a latchkey kid.
I don't know what that means.
It means you're alone, right? That's my understanding of
that. Fair amount. Like my mom was a principal.
Like your parents gave you a key to the house, and it was your job to get home and get in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, then you're a latchkey kid.
That was like me. My parents actually, they moved to the States for like winters, like right after I graduated. And so I went like graduation day 1 to like graduation, and then the very next day, moving into my first place by myself.
Well, shout out to you. That's impressive. Were you? Was it weird having your mom were you at the same school as your mom?
No, different schools.
Okay.
But yeah, it was the type of thing where we had very similar. Her and I had very similar like school / work days. She'd just get home like an hour to an hour and a half after me. So pardon the interruption and Around the Horn were like my go-to for that time period.
TJ, the chat wants to know, have they been teased yet? Have I missed it? Are there Spidey bumps today?
There are. They have not been teased. I have not checked the likes yet, but they're ready to be dropped as long as we are hitting the like button. Let's see how many we're at so far. 49. I am the 50th like right now, so that means the first Spidey bomb is coming, second at 100.
All right, Spidey bombs incoming. The more times you hit the like button, the more Spidey bombs we get from Spidey and TJ himself. TJ will be on about a half hour or so with BeerMakersFan. You guys know BeerMakersFan from a lot of things. With the 6-pack, I presume there was a 6-pack today. If there was, I missed it, but I'm sure it was spectacular. We'll hear what the beast of the night will be later on. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, of course, holding that down. Okay, so and they're power ranking the panelists. I didn't want to go down that route. There's some obvious ones. I think somebody said in chat, J3 said that Woody Page raised me, was the father I never had. Yeah, he would probably be one of the legacy guys. I think he had the most wins. I saw somebody give like the wins and losses. I think Woody Page is the most wins.
Page is probably number 1 if you think of like all time Around the Horn guests. He's probably the first person most people think of.
Yeah, Kalashaw, Adande. There's more, but yeah, I didn't want to just like trash somebody. Somebody's got to go in the 5-hole. I probably know who that is, but I didn't want to go that route. So Chop, we went ahead and we power ranked. Yes, TJ is correct. TJ guessed in our private chat. That is who I thought the 5 would be. But we went ahead and power ranked. Oh God, why Why can't I find this, Chop? Did I erase it?
Around the horn. Horn.
Yeah, horns. Yes,
There
we
you
power
go.
ranked horns. There you go. We power ranked horns. So let me know in chat the best and the worst horns. And Chop was very adamant what should be in the 5-hole. And we mentioned Matthew McConaughey earlier in the show. He's not going to appreciate what you put in the 5-hole. That's not going to be something he's a fan of for sure. We might have to zoom in. We got to zoom in to see this one. I don't know, Chop, if you can read that. I'm struggling. Maybe that's just me. But making the picture a little bit bigger. TJ's thrown it up on the screen. But let me know in chat the best and worst horns. The ones we considered. Well, Chop, you want to go ahead? Wait, around the horn, just he gets number 1. It just has to. It's their day. Shout out to them. But others that we considered, Chop, thought process, what do you got?
What? You want me to read that board? I can't read that shit.
I got it. I was saying the same thing. I can't read it. Joe Horn. Joe Horn, the 2 holes. Shout out to Joe Horn. For the
we did
Saints.
Joe Horn?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do the whole family. He's got a family, man. Joe Horn, J.C. Horn.
Oh, you're doing it. Oh, it's
yeah. Joe Horn, J.C. Horn is a cornerback, a really good one. And Joe Horn Jr. is now a wide receiver in the NFL this year. He's a rookie. So you got the whole Horn family.
There's Keith Van Horn, sharpshooter back in the day for Utah and Brooklyn. Utah in college, Brooklyn mostly in the NBA. And then Air Horn. Air Horn's just annoying, right? Air Horn's pretty annoying.
Didn't he win a championship with the Mavs? Or was he on like the Steve Nash Mavs team pre-championship?
Don't recall, but I don't think so.
I think he was with like Nash and Michael Finley in that team.
Michael Finley, that's a name. Takes me back. So we got around in the 1 hole. We have Joe Horn in the 2 hole. Chop, when you wrote that, I thought you were saying pick one. I thought you were saying to pick one. I didn't realize you were taking the entire thing. I know that JC, I'm pretty sure JC's his kid. I didn't know Jimmy Jr. was related to him as well. But I guess, my bad. And Keith Van is in the 3 spot. And then Air Horns, also considered the Horn of Africa, boat horn, fog horn, French horn, car horn, train horn, but they did not make the board. And then, of course, Chop, tell the people why Longhorn isn't 5. This, it's supposed to be a spectacular college, Austin, Texas. What's the issue here, Chop?
I'm a fan of another. I'm a fan of another university in the great state of Texas. So Longhorns are just they're just garbage, Dean. Not to mention, I've spent my fair share of time in Austin when I was younger, and it's not my cup of tea. Those guys, a bunch of spoiled, preppy, daddy's money, doing whatever they want.
What about South by Southwest? That seems like a good time.
Oh, yeah, sure, bud.
No, not for you.
Sounds great. Sounds terrible. A bunch of hippies out there.
Do you not like music?
A bunch of hippies out there. I don't want any part of any of it.
You're anti-music? Like what a take that is? Who doesn't like music? Just
I
general
love
thought.
music. I just don't need to go to the South by Southwest garbage.
All right.
With
I'm
all
too
those
old to go.
with all
I
those
would love to go
hipsters,
when I was
man.
younger.
Okay, but yeah, Longhorn, no big deal. Just don't like them. So we can agree to disagree if you do like them, and so that's that.
All right, let's go ahead and throw some teams in some tiers. We're gonna do there's 24 teams. So we have an extra game on DK. Again, FanDuel not including Baltimore and Boston, but DK is. We have the knockers on layaway. We have the BBP suggested of the day also coming. But let's talk about our first game. It's Toronto. TJ's Blue Jays in Tampa. Steinbrenner Field. It's going to be really hot there. No data to show, obviously small sample, brand new ballpark from a MLB perspective. Oh, shout out to TJ dropping the Spidey bump. Teoscar Hernandez plus 525. That's a big number. Tough ballpark. We'll talk about it in a second. But it's a big number for Teoscar. Rasmussen taking on Eric Lauer. Where do we have the Blue Jays and the Rays?
Where we at? Blue Jays, Rays?
Yes, sir.
Let me pull them up. I got them all. Rays and Tampa. Let me pull
I like
them
TJ is putting his guesstimates in there, and I like his first. I like his read.
Yeah, Toronto against Rasmussen. I just don't like it. Like I get that it's a good ballpark in general, But Rasmussen is a talented pitcher. I prefer not to stack against that on such a big slate where I've got so many options, and I like a lot of teams a lot better matchups. So I'm putting them in tier 4. I got to take stands here. Toronto's going in tier 4 for me. I think Rasmussen has talent. Tampa Bay against Lauer is a tier 2 team for me. Lauer, I'm not putting the numbers over the last 2 years. He hasn't pitched very much, so I'm not taking any of that into consideration, really. I just know he's a lefty, so maybe some of the righties have good matchups, and I'm not going to put him in tier 1. There's a lot of uncertainty there, but tier 2 seems good.
I would just note that he's sort of a neutral reverse splits. I would just call him neutral. If you want to say reverse splits, you can do that, but historically, you can play the lefties is the point. And I would say Curtis Mead is the one that's most vulnerable to the pinch hit. When a righty comes in here, that's the one I'm most afraid of getting out of there. Simpson is starting left on left, and Lauer might not even make it to Simpson his second time around. He might. He might. Yeah, he's not a guy that's going to stick around too long. Depending on how efficient he is, it's possible Simpson only sees him once. Brandon Lau was my sneaky homer of the day today in today's survey, the old left on left. Christopher Morel, if he can hit the ball, this is a good spot for him. I like Danny Jansen as well. Love Yandy Diaz. Again, Tampa, one of my favorite teams on the board. Spidey Bell number 2 is on the other side of this game, and it's Dalton Varsho. Dodgers, Mets, Clayton Kershaw, whatever's left of them, taking on the Mets. Griffin Canning, 8.5 total, tough ballpark. It's weird. He's 2 good offenses here, Chop, and they're just going to be ignored. And it's a huge slate. People aren't playing these guys, as far as I can tell. How do you feel about the Dodgers and the Mets tonight?
It is 2 good offenses, and the pitching is suspect. Let's say the pitching. Clayton Kershaw not particularly good, just not particularly good right now against a really good offense. And the Dodgers get a pitcher who has pitched really well this year, but we don't know, if that's the full picture here. The full track record on him doesn't show he's that good. So who knows what he really is? Maybe somewhere in between. I'm putting both teams in tier 3, just because you mentioned in passing real quick right there, the ballpark just not conducive to a lot of hitting. I think there's better spots tonight. So I'm kind of neutral on both of these teams. These offenses could light it up. That's for absolute sure. But I'm kind of don't know what to do with either one. So I'm putting them in tier 3.
Canning has been awesome this year in a great ground ball rate too. And I don't know if it's the ballpark or just the Mets have a good pitching coach, but as a whole, the Mets have pitched really excellent this year. And again, it's a big slate. I'm not making a ton of lineups. You're making 150. I'm not doing that. I don't think I'm playing Dodgers. Just you can't play everybody. And if this is the night where Ohtani bangs out a couple, we're firing up the movies earlier than normal tonight. That's just how that goes. Second,
that Ohtani, man.
He's so good.
He's good, but when I don't take him, he homers twice. And then when I do the other night, when I really need him, I really need a home run out of you. I need something out of you. He literally scores 0. He's my kryptonite. That's for sure.
That's how it goes, man. That's baseball, right? That's what you signed up for. The best hitter in the world in the best ballpark to hit baseballs versus the worst pitcher in baseball, and your guy can go for 4. He can hit the ball really well 4 times and still go for 4. That's just how that goes. Charlie Morton, who's been getting hit pretty hard, Lucas Giolito. That is the second matchup here in the doubleheader for Baltimore and Boston. Again, no lineups just yet. We did mention, you kind of talked about the Bregman is going to be out almost, unless he has some sort of miraculous recovery because he got hurt in game 1. This Baltimore offense has been sputtering, but, especially power lefties I like against Giolito. We prefer righties in this ballpark with the monster there. Boston dropped, 17 or so on Baltimore. Now, to be fair, like 7 of those or whatever it was, 5 against a shortstop or something like that. Devers banged out a couple. I think he DH'd game 1 for what it's worth. Lefty power, especially everything against Charlie Morton, I suppose. Baltimore, Boston, DK only. I like this game a good bit. What say you?
I'm going to start with Baltimore, and I'm putting them in tier 2. I'm putting Baltimore in tier 2. No explanation needed. They're just a tier 2. The ownership on them is going to be probably kind of high. So they are what they are. Now, for Boston, listen, I'll always have a soft spot for Charlie Morton, man. You know, winning a World Series, pitching like 5 innings in Game 7 against the mighty Dodgers in LA to close it out on them. Soft spot for Charlie, but buddy, I think he's seen his better days, Dean. So
it's like 45. What do you want from the guy?
I know, man. I wish, I don't know. He can't be a money thing. Just go ahead and should have retired gracefully, man. You still had some good stuff when you was with Atlanta. You could have just gracefully bowed out, but now you're getting rocked every weekend. So Boston's going in tier 1. He's just not a good pitcher, and the Baltimore bullpen not good. Even Batista's getting hit these days. So this could be another tough one here for Baltimore pitching staff.
You got Baltimore in Joe and Boston in Aranda. Is that correct? In the number 1 tier?
1 and 2, yep.
I'm being told in chat, somebody mentioned Trevor Rogers might be opening for Baltimore. I don't see that, but I did see, in a doubleheader, you're allowed to call up a 27th man. He was the 27th man called up, the guy they traded for last year and gave up some prospects. And again, when you're pitching in the Baltimore organization and you're not good enough to crack this rotation in AAA, it's a bad sign. He was fine. He had his moments with the Marlins, for what it's worth, several years back, but they're speculating in him opening. I don't see that, but maybe it's a piggyback situation where Rogers and Morton both go. And again, their bullpen got worked a bit there in Game 1 because they gave a pile of runs. So maybe we see some Trevor Rogers. I'm not saying you roster him, obviously, but curious to see how that's handled. I'm checking to see if there's any news on this, but just be alert. What do you got, TJ?
DraftKings is predicting him to start. So there's no news that he is starting, but because he was called up, DraftKings has him listed as the probable starting pitcher now.
So do we think that he's again? Does DraftKings think that he's starting and Morton's not going to pitch? Or
I mean, realistically, it would probably be both of them, regardless of who starts. What they have it as, he will probably start the second game, although he could be deployed as a bulk reliever. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Morton pitch just like less than a normal amount of reps because he came in for when who was that, Gibson or Hendricks got lit up? Like they
did pitch him out of the pen some this year.
But I think he played recently, like in the first inning because their starter couldn't get out of it. And so it could be both of them now. But again, that's just DraftKings prediction. It is not an official thing.
Yeah, Steve in chat is saying don't use either pitcher. Yeah, of course not. I'm not using the pitchers. I'm just thinking as far as how I'm attacking Baltimore. I just pulled up Rogers' numbers in AAA this year. I mean, a 7.71 ERA, 18 strikeouts, and 16 innings, a 1.65 WHIP. I mean, I can't sit here and break down the how lucky or unlucky, but again, he's not been good throwing baseballs in AAA. Otherwise, he would have been called up, and that's why he hasn't. Okay, let's move on. Cleveland, Detroit. Jackson Jobe, Slade Ciccone. No Riley Green for Detroit for some reason here. I don't know. Just maybe a regular day off. Is he dinged that I'm not aware of? But he's not playing baseball this evening. Jobe, one-time Uber prospect, taking on Ciccone, 8.5 total. Detroit, the slight favorite. Chop, this is one of those games that's just sort of happening, and I don't think I'm having any part of it from any angle. I'm not against some things. Of course, I like J-Ram. I'm fine with Carpenter, but I think I'm mostly ignoring it.
Well, first off, Dean, I'd like to say, you just talked about Trevor Rogers. He was the centerpiece of Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers.
Yeah.
That was such a brutal trade. He's so bad.
I think he was the only piece. You're saying centerpiece. I think he was the only piece.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
But he was the only player that moved. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also I'd like to Crazy Coop. He tried to make a joke, a trash can joke. You can't make those Astros jokes like that. So I had to put him on timeout. Let that be a lesson. Let that be a lesson. Let that be a lesson to the chat.
I was literally just in the midst of trying to figure out why you deleted that comment and timed him out, but I didn't make that connection.
I didn't put him.
Doesn't like the truth.
I didn't delete it, but when you time them out, I guess it does delete the comments. So that's just a bonus. Hey, you come out. Speaking of our board here in horns, you come out. You come at the bull. You best be prepared for the horns or whatever whatever.
We should have TJ with a ding like a point system for this show, but I guess I don't know how complicated that would have been, but that could have been. Who's got time for that? And that's more buttons and more things for TJ to do. But at the homage, well, there you go.
There you go.
I don't think Around the Horn had that one at their disposal, but there you go. We live in the world of a salary Detroit. We live in the world of a salary cap. Having too much fun now.
And let's get to the Cleveland, Detroit. Don't really like these. I'm gonna put them both in tier 4. I'm making a adjustment on the fly. I had 3-4, but I'm going tier 4 on both these teams. I don't, the stadium not conducive to hitting in general, and I like the pitchers. I'm going tier 4.
Chop, is it just me, or can you barely see Detroit's logo on the board?
No, you can barely see it. I mean,
okay.
We just pony up the $9 a month. We're a multi-million-dollar corporation, guys. Can we get $9 for the show that we do every day?
We'll make it GoFundMe.
My goodness.
All right. San Diego, Atlanta, Chris Sale, Nick Pivetta. Sale, one of the best pitchers, taking the bump. Pivetta, has at least some strikeout potential. The arrival of Ronald Acuna, who's doing really well in the minors for what it's worth. Acuna back with Atlanta. That lineup looks so much better. James in chat telling me Vientos was scratched. Did not see that, but okay, that is of note. He was batting second for the Mets, so I'm curious to see how that lineup changes. Maybe they get is Acuna still around? Maybe both Acunas play today. You tell me. Thoughts as far as Atlanta and the Padres. What do you got?
Okay, so I want to address a comment in chat real quick, Dean.
Oh, boy.
The Lord Jim says wind blowing out. I guess that's in reference to what I said in the last game. It's not a conducive to hitters ballpark, Detroit, Cleveland. He said wind blowing out. When you look at the weather edge by Roth, yes, you're getting a bump positive in the ballpark tonight. But that's just in the ballpark. That doesn't take into account how this ballpark is configured in neutral time, like when it's neutral. When it's neutral, this is a bad hitter's ballpark. So while you get a little bit of a bump for the ballpark, still when you compare it to the rest of Major League Baseball and all the other parks going tonight, this is a bad hitter's ballpark. So don't be fooled by some of those big numbers in weather edge, which it's doing its job. It's telling you about the ballpark. But if the ballpark is bad in the first place, then a slight bump in home runs or runs doesn't matter. Like, it's still a bad ballpark. So that's the only thing I would comment on that. And, I do have the model going for the park factor. So
yeah,
I'm pretty on top.
Don't hold your breath for that.
No, that's a private thing. I'll never see that'll never go public. No,
you wouldn't sell out. You wouldn't. If this model doesn't exist,
no. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the game. This is the game I love. I don't need to sell every tool out there like some of these people. Just money grabs. I don't need to sell everything. You're ruining the game. Let's just keep it. If you got a good tool, keep it to yourself. Chris Sale, Nick Pivetta, Dean. This is San Diego's in 5 and Atlanta's in 4. There's no need to shove these people in my lineups.
I do like the Acuna seems a little too cheap for his skill set. I think he's 3.7 on FanDuel, and if he's like Acuna, he should be like at least 4K. It's a tougher matchup, I suppose.
I'm a little worried about him. Coming back like this from injury, and
I'm not worried.
You're not worried?
They took their time with him. Yeah,
but hitters in major, it's like they kind of need the reps in spring training. Timing and all that. Now you're going to jump back in against.
He's got 3 weeks here. He's been playing a lot.
Pretty good pitcher. I don't know. We'll see.
By the way, Roth upgraded the risk in Boston. It's orange yellow now. We're not rostering the pitchers either way, but of notes, that game is orange yellow in Boston. Okay. Oh, let's drop that 5th clue for Film Friday. We had a winner, but just if you're still playing it out, Chop, the 5th clue is Henry. Henry is the 5th clue for Film Friday. Spidey Bum's also scrolling as well. Rangers, White Sox, Tyler Mahle has been amazing this year, playing above his head, but it's the White Sox, so, it should possibly continue. Sean Burke, not very good. That bullpen is bad as well. Haggerty drawing the start here for the Rangers, the switch hitter. Who's not in there with Haggerty in there? Am I missing somebody? Trying to think. Burger Time is caught fire. He's up to the 5 hole ever since getting demoted to AAA. He's come back scorching. He hits the ball hard, 3 homers, I think, since he's jumped back in. But, Adalis Garcia, by the way, in the 8-hole. Marcus Semien batting 9th only because you can't bat him 10th. Oh, my God. He's been terrible. Texas does some weird things in their lineups, but this is what we got today. How do you feel about the Rangers versus the White Sox?
So is my talented Mr. Ripley not right?
It is not. Spectacular movie, but it is not the talented Mr. Ripley.
Is it The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
No, it is not The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
I'm lost today then. All right. Sean Burke, Texas is a tier 2 team for me. They're a tier 2 team against Sean Burke in this ballpark's pretty neutral regardless. So I'm going tier 2, even though Texas is not the same lineup without not being at full strength. And also, Dean, it's not the same lineup as it was when they won the World Series and they had, they were really good a couple years ago. Because they were cheating a couple years ago, and now they're not, so they're kind of falling back a little bit. So,
well, you can make accusations. Can I mute you? You can make these accusations. But
whoa, brother, whoa, slow down. I'm just.
You're silencing others that are saying stuff about your Astros.
I'm on the show, Dean. I'm on the show. I have the power to do whatever I wanted. I'm like
that's fair.
Francesca. I can mute you if I want to mute you on the phone. All right.
Oh, is that a Mike Francesa? Was that Mike Francesa you were trying to say?
Sure, Francesca.
We're literally talking about we're celebrating around the horn. You could have said Tony Reale. It was right there. They actually.
There you go. I can mute you, Reale. Did you know Max Kellerman started off on Around the Horn?
I did know that.
He was the first. He was the first host.
Yeah, he was there.
Then they moved him to First Take, but.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and Tony wasn't supposed to be the guy, but he was just so good.
Tony was like a guy working off camera behind the scenes on PTI at first.
He was that boy. Boy.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right, man, give me a break.
What?
I'm getting these requests via Venmo and Cash App. Getting a request, Dean.
People are requesting what, money from you? Randoms?
Yeah. No, not randoms. My kids. These sons of bitches.
Oh, what do they want?
They need to mow the yard. You want money? Mow the yard. You want money? Go mow the yard, man. I'll give you some money. Don't just ask for money.
What's the going rate? What are you paying them to mow the yard?
So I don't even like double check the work, and I don't even ask them to weed eat or anything. So I'll give them like $15 each. That's $30 for the 2 boys. That's fine. It's a small. It's smallish. I don't. Like I said, man. They leave like streaks in the yard. Like it's really bad work, but come on, man. Do it. Step up your game. Tyler Mahle, the White Sox, that's a tier 5. I don't want anything to do with the White Sox.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. We got to pick up the pace a little bit. Crunch time coming in about 10 minutes or so. We have Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. We have BeerMakersFan, and TJ will be spinning more plates, giving some analysis from stepping behind the proverbial glass. Let's talk about the Royals, the Twins, Pablo Lopez, Noah Cameron. We do have Carlos Correa back for Minnesota, but Buxton is still out. Royals, Twins, what do you got for me?
Yeah, this is Minnesota's going in tier 3 just because Cameron's a little bit more of an unknown than some of the other pitchers. So I'll put them in tier 3, and they get Correa back. KC's a tier 5. They just not a lot of thump in that lineup, and Pablo Lopez is a good pitcher, tier 5.
Mariners, Astros, 8.5 total. Emerson Hancock, Ryan Gusto. Hancock versus, it's 8 righties because the switch hitting Caratini's in there, but we're not afraid of him, obviously. We saw a late scratch yesterday for J-Rod, for Julio Rodriguez. He's back, so I assume he's not going to get scratched again. I love Big Dumper Kyle Rowley as a tournament play, as a spend up. He's just a great separator. Crawford boxes from the right hand side if a lefty jumps in, and doesn't matter what he doesn't need any sort of cheat codes. The power that he possesses. I know Dave Potts wrote about him today and just talking about how basically this year, if there's tiers, right? It's like I guess Judge Ohtani and Kyle Rowley, like the 3 best hitters essentially this season. Raleigh 3rd for what it's worth. Mariners, Astros, what do you got?
It's an interesting matchup here. Seattle against Gusto. I'm putting them in tier 2. I think it's a solid lineup in a better ballpark than they're used to against a pitcher that's probably not that good. At least he's not right now. Tier 2. Houston, I'm also putting in tier 2. I just they're showing some signs of life, and they've got some hitters in the lineup that are hitting the ball hard, and Did you know that since Pena got moved to the leadoff spot, he's batting like a ridiculous 400 or something? Like it suits him really well up there. I haven't seen the lineup tonight, but I wonder where Altuve's hidden. But Paredes, I think they moved him third.
Yeah.
Okay, they moved Paredes up over the last couple of days. I think that's good. And basically, I just don't think we're getting a good Hancock here tonight. I just think he's not particularly good, and he can be exploited.
TJ, both teams are in the 4 spot. Unless I misunderstood. Chop, you said air, right? Did you say air? Yeah.
Two spot. Both of these are in 2 poor pitchers.
Okay. I'm sorry. My brain. That's my mistake. That's my bad. When I was thinking 2, I was thinking I inversed it in my head for some reason. But yes, you have them both in the Joe Horn. All right. If you're joining us late, by the way, we did power rank horns. If you couldn't quite figure out our board, Aranda is in the 1 hole, Joe Horn in the 2 hole, Keith Van Horn in the 3 hole, Air Horn in the 4 hole, and then Chop. Take it up a Chop. He's got Longhorn in the 5 hole. The steakhouse, are they catching some shrapnel, or you don't like the steakhouse as well? Longhorn Steakhouse? Are you aware of the existence?
Actually, that's not the same people. It's not like they're run by Texas Longhorn.
No, but it's Longhorn.
That food. That's very, very good food there, Dean. The fried mushrooms is good, and
it's not their fault. They're in the 5 hole though, because of you, because you don't like Matthew McConaughey.
No, there's a lot of Deans out there. I'm not lumping them up in the same category with you. They're separate.
You got me ahead of Dean Kramer or no?
Oh God, Kramer sucks, man.
D-backs, Cardinals, Miles Michaelis taking on Zach Gallen. 8 is the total, kind of a coin toss. Arizona, the slight favorite here. Negative ballpark shift for them. Where do we have the D-backs and the Cardinals?
St. Louis tier 5 against Gallen. I actually kind of like Gallen, and I'm not in love with this matchup tonight for St. Louis. Arizona's tier 3. I'm kind of neutral on them. I like this lineup in general, but Michaelis doesn't surrender a lot of fly ball. He's not a big home run giver-upper, and the ballpark isn't really conducive to home runs anyway. So I'm putting him in tier 3. I'm neutral.
By the way, it is Luis Angel Acuna. So both Acuna brothers are playing today. Acuna is stepping in for the Mets in the 9 hole. Okay. Yankees, Rockies, 7.5 total.
Where were Diamondbacks, sorry?
3. Third tier.
Tanner Gordon taking on Clark Schmidt. That is 4 last names, right? If my math is correct. Tanner Gordon, Clark Schmidt. Yankees 7.5 total. There is no Cody Bellinger. Aaron Judge, just 7K on DK, which is completely absurd, but I understand why. Yankees, Rockies. What say you, Chop?
I say Colorado in tier 3, just in case it's this is obviously a good ballpark, and the weather, if there's a slight bump to hitters for tonight in this ballpark, slight bump, which means it's a big bump overall because of the ballpark. So I don't know how much Clark Schmidt I can handle there. I think I'm more likely to have a couple Colorado hitters than Clark Schmidt. So I'll put them in tier 3. New York's clearly a tier 1. I know it's a big ownership, although at 7K, maybe that drives the ownership off a Judge enough to where it makes it an interesting GPP play. But there's just 7.5. I mean, we'd have to check the records on like implied team totals and how big. That's got to be one of the bigger ones ever.
Cub win games, I feel like pushing 7.5 sometimes, so maybe 8. I feel like we've maybe seen an 8 in cores, like best offense there. Against a terrible pitcher, good weather, all that. It's not even like great weather, like you said. It's not terrible, but it's not spectacular. 2 more games. We have the knockers. We have the BBP suggestion of the day. Crunch time in the bullpen coming on in a few minutes. Marlins, Angels, Yusei Kikuchi taking on Sandy Alcantara. The suddenly hot Angels, winners of 7 in a row. Hoppy's banging them out. Ward, I don't know what he has to do to get a price bump, but he didn't really get a price bump. And Neto's been spectacular as well. No Marlins lineup just yet, but spoiler, it's not going to be great. Kikuchi, Alcantara, what do you got as far as the Marlins and the Angels?
Yeah, I'm going Miami in tier 4. I kind of like Kikuchi again over this Miami lineup. I kind of think I want to play him tonight. So Kikuchi's decent. Miami's in tier 4. The Angels in tier 2 for me. I do. Oh man, like Alcantara was a talented guy, man, but he just hasn't quite pieced it together since coming back from the injury. And I'm gonna put him in tier 2, and I'll leave it at that. Like maybe he starts to turn the corner even more today and puts in a good game. But you just said it. They've won a lot of games in a row. I looked at the standings today. I was like, whoa, how'd they get there? They're like moved up in the division. And it's because they've won a lot of games in a row, and they're doing it with their offense. So I don't know, man. I put them in tier 2.
Last game, Zach Wheeler, one of the best pitchers, taking the bump tonight. Tough ballpark here in Sacramento. Jacob Lopez. If you missed it, looks like Lopez drawing the start for the Athletics. It was supposed to be Springs, but that's not the case. Shout out to Nick Kurtz. He's finally starting to live up to that big potential he had coming into the year. Banged out a couple homers of late. Not sure if it's going to happen tonight versus Wheeler. It is another lefty, by the way, Jacob Lopez. I just pulled him up real quickly. Numbers have been pretty good in AAA. He's 27, so I don't know if he's much more prospect these days. I don't know much about Jacob Lopez, but that's who's throwing baseballs against the Phillies. Where do you have Philadelphia and the Athletics?
Oakland in tier 4. Zach Wheeler. Yeah, I'd like to put him up higher, but that's an elite pitcher right there. So they're going to go in tier 4. Phillies in tier 2 for me. I don't know what we're getting out of this. I don't know what we're getting out of the starter, actually. I think it's a lot up in the air here. I actually hate bullpen games if that's the way we're going to go, some sort of a bullpen. But I'm going to put Philly in tier 2.
Yeah, it might not be a bullpen game. I think it's just he was called up, and I think he's pretty stretched out. I'm fairly certain.
Like, I don't like openers either because they usually target your opener for a specific reason against that first 3 batters in the lineup. Probably don't like that. I don't know, man. I'm putting him in.
But I don't think it's an opener situation, is what I'm saying. I think he's just their starting pitcher.
So you think Springs is what?
I think he's not playing today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure.
So there's a little bit of unknown here. I don't know. So I'm putting him in tier 2.
Okay, let me recap the board, and we're going to go ahead and tell the people about. If you missed it, Chop, you didn't get it just yet. Today's Film Friday, and of course, to give them the knockers, give them the BBP suggestion of the day. We hand it off to crunch time. Still 50+ minutes. Here is the board. We power ranked horns. Number 1, Around the Horn. There's 2 teams in Around the Horn. That is, well, big market teams, Yankees and Red Sox. The most popular tier today is Joe Horn and his entire family. That's the Rays, Baltimore, Texas, Houston, Seattle, the Angels, the Phillies. Keith Van Horn, that has the Mets, the Dodgers, the Twins, Arizona, Colorado, Airhorn, Toronto, Cleveland, Detroit, Atlanta, the Marlins jumping all the way up to the 4 spot, and the Athletics. And all the way at the bottom, we have the Padres hanging out with Longhorn, as well as the White Sox, who are at their natural spot, Kansas City and St. Louis. Today's Film Friday, shout out to Moki. Moki, by the way, in chat said afterwards, great clues. So that's how you get confident how good your clues are if somebody actually guesses correctly. So clue number 1, Chop.
Multiple actual compliments on your clues this week. The chat's been saying these may have been your best clues of all time, Dean.
Yeah, but sometimes it's too easy when I do that.
That's
sometimes
what threw me off then. If they were actually good clues, that's what threw me off.
The people were happy that they were actual clues and not synonyms of clues.
The first clue, never the best clue, but it does mean something. The first clue is hay. Hay was in reference to a co-star in this movie, Christian Bale, like a bale of hay. Second clue was France. Something takes place in France, in Le Mans specifically. Against, when you pit somebody against another, this person versus that person, this person, this thing versus that thing. Italy, well, a vehicle from Italy was featured in this movie. And Henry was the last clue. Henry Ford versus Ferrari. Chop, have you seen Ford versus Ferrari? Do you also agree these clues were spectacular, despite the fact you didn't take it down today?
So I have seen that movie, and it is a good movie.
It's good.
And yes, the these actually being good clues threw me off because I'm still in the mindset of rabbit equals Hopper equals Dennis Hopper. Where do we get Dennis Hopper and rabbit from last week? So
it's only one step. Stop it. It's only one step.
You got me. So
I mean, that's on you. You can't when the game's over. You got to turn the page, and just like DFS, I had a terrible day yesterday in DFS. It's 0-0 again.
No,
let's start from scratch.
No, I got it. Yeah, but I'm looking at the numbers on these starting pitchers. Right, these pitchers have shown me a history, so I can look at the history and try to make my decisions from that. Well, just like your clues, typically your clues are just terrible. So I'm in the terrible clue mindset, not the good clue mindset.
You got it. Everything is fluid, man. Just like weather.
Come on, Dean. I got some knockers and stuff for you, man.
Give me the
knockers. BVP suggestion. It's just a suggestion on the BVP.
Sure,
but it's Eugenio Suarez. It's let's get Suarez up there. I mean, like I don't like the ballpark. I don't like picking on Mikolas necessarily, but the numbers don't lie. All right, knockers, Dean. Knockers are synonymous. Knockers are synonymous with a 4-letter word, right? You think of knockers, you think of a 4-letter word. So I'm gonna give you 2 4-letter words as my knockers: Neto and Ward. Steaming hot. They're sizzling hot, Dean. I like them. Batting 1 and 4. Zach Neto, Taylor Ward. Let's go. Knockers.
All right, let's do it. Let's bring in crunch time. They're coming in. They've been warming up in the bullpen. We got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. We have TJ spinning more plates. And we got BeerMakersFan, Beast of the Night incoming as well. Let's do it. Let's bring in crunch time right now. Happy Friday to Beer, to Roth. Roth, what is that shit-eating grin on your face?
TJ destroyed you so hard when he said, and I quote, "The people are happy you gave actual clues and not synonyms synonyms of clues." That's a killer line.
Look, it's not a killer line. It's so ridiculous.
It's so
There's
true.
always been a winner. Somebody always gets it. So how do they accidentally, somebody always gets it just by chance?
Because by the 5th clue, you give something decent. But usually clues 2, 3, and 4 are just so outrageous that not a single person has connected the dots.
A reminder that you had a movie last week. I don't remember what Tom Cruise movie it was. Oh, Jerry Maguire. And somebody got it on clue 7. And that was because I gave clue 7. Clue 7 was impossible. And you didn't understand the reference of Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. So not only did it take my 7th clue for them to win, but you didn't even get my 7th clue.
I thought you were doing social commentary, not social commentary. I thought he was giving commentary in the game saying that it was impossible because my clue stinks. Maybe I was just feeling defensive. Like, well, he's just saying my clues are impossible. But today they were easy enough, I suppose. Ford versus Ferrari. By the way, Roth, Freddie got fingered? Have we watched it yet or no? What are we watching?
I'm sorry. I owe you a Freddie got fingered. I am a man of my word. I need to watch the movie, but there has not been the time, but it will happen. I promise.
No rush. There's no deadline, but I'm just curious.
I'm not worried about like the spoiler alerts catching me here. I think I'll be all right.
Daddy wants some sausage. All right. Chop, anything else before you step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time?
Nah.
All right. That was Chopper. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Do not go anywhere. You got 45 plus minutes of crunch time. It's Kevin Roth. It's BeerMakersFan. It's TJ. Roth, take it away.
Let's do it. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It is indeed crunch time. It is indeed 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz. BeerMakersFan in the house. What up, Beer? Looking good, man. Looking good. The beard and the
looking gray, man. It's like it's getting old look. Fast. Yeah, I mean,
it's a good look for you.
With the amount of money my wife spends to get rid of grays, as a dude, it's definitely much easier. And she's always like, wow, dudes can age gracefully and grays are okay. And for a woman, you look like I'm not going to say anything derogatory here, but
good job.
You know what she's saying. So, right.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that, Roth. I might try to grow the beard out. I generally keep it pretty tight, but hey, we'll let it grow. But I have a question for you. Are we going to get Game 2 in Baltimore and Boston? Because I'd really like that game. I'm waiting on those lineups, but are we going to get that game in?
I do have an answer for you, but I will wait until we say hello and bring in super producer TJ in the house. Producer talent,
man
player,
of all trades.
analyst. Yeah, he's a man of many hats, though he's not wearing one now because he's got fantastic hair. What up, TJ? How are you? And hoodies, a man of many hoodies.
And the man behind the six-pack now, he's making me look good, editing all my,
I didn't know
blabbering, and so appreciate it, TJ.
No problem at all. Doesn't take much to make beer look good with those 6-packs. Some wonderful picks. One of the best short form videos, if not the best short form video in the entire industry. So I'm happy to be a part of it. Yeah, it's actually helped my process as well, because it kind of gives me kind of like an early start on the day of which teams I'm looking to be targeting. And so nice early start to my process. And yeah, happy to be here. We got a fun 12 game slate for Friday night. Lots and lots of games. And then maybe we'll see. Might be too crazy, but might try and sneak away to the new Mission Impossible movie tonight.
Ooh, very nice. When you see it, I want to review, because I do most certainly want to watch that eventually. We got to give you an update on the weather here, because Beer mentioned right up the top, hey, what's going on in Boston? Are we going to get game 2? And I think the answer is very clearly, we need to see what they plan on doing. And that's it. Like, it's light rain and it's all night long. So if they have a tarp on pregame, they're probably not playing. And if they're warming up pregame, then they're probably just going to play in the rain. And I don't know what they're going to do. This is just a totally on them kind of decision. It is a miserable night for baseball. It's cold, it's wet, it's kind of windy, but they want to get the game in, then they'll just play through it. And the players and the fans will be miserable. So Steve says he's going to tune into the Red Sox pregame.
Thank you. I was just going to say, we need some boots on the ground. I'm sure there's nobody at the game that's hanging out. Well, maybe there is, but if anybody's got anything, we'd love it. So I don't love the weather there, but I'd love the matchup for both of these sides, and especially if Charlie Morton's pitching. I don't care if it's 30 degrees. I still want some exposure. So
and it was a whole hell of a lot better in the first game, but they put up like 27 runs or something, right? Like, we know that they can certainly get some runs up even in chilly weather. So that's something that I'm monitoring. The other game that we need to talk about is New York. There's really not much rain there, but it's just spaced out very annoyingly, where a shower is going to move in, and then you get like maybe an hour break, and then another shower, and then an hour break, and then another shower. I'm hoping, Steve says, literally as soon as I turned it on, they had a meteorologist talking about it. Good for them. Hopefully he's got an idea of what they're going to do. I think they're going to play this game in New York, but I don't exactly know how. I don't exactly know what it's going to take. Late start possible, in-game delay or delays possible, playing through rain possible, all of that on the table. I don't know. If we like pitchers in New York, I'd be a little more worried, but I do think that they will get the bats in. That's it. That's my weather spiel for now. We will continue monitoring what's going on in both of those spots. And with that, let's turn it over and talk about some of these pitchers. TJ, I'm going to let you lead us off.
Yeah, it's I guess kind of strong pitching slate. It doesn't feel that strong considering it's 12 games. We do have a lot of stud pitchers on the slate, but a lot of them are in pretty tough matchups as well. So like, it's kind of a weird pitching slate where if you just see the names, it feels very strong. If you look at the projections and you look at the matchups, all of a sudden it gets kind of a little bit tougher to decide who you want to prioritize today at pitcher. And so I'm going with a bit of a hot take today. I'm going to be, for the most part, fading the expensive pitchers. I'm not going to play any Zach Wheeler, which is terrifying, but I'm not going to do it. I'll be about even on Chris Sale, and then I'm planning on taking, and then Pablo Lopez is the other guy that I really like for tournaments. I am going to be taking shots on some of these cheap, ugly guys today, like Clark Schmidt. Great matchup against the Rockies, but it's in Coors Field. Yusei Kikuchi, probably my top, SP2 choice, but he's also going to be 30+% owned today. Definitely not playing Alcantara or, Gallon, those guys in the mid tier. So I'm just going to take some super cheap shots on guys that I don't feel confident in, but they're really cheap and maybe they can do something. Some guys like Emerson Hancock and Lucas Giolito today. So Chris Sale is probably my favorite overall option. I'm going to be underweight on the Zach Wheelers of the world. And then Pablo Lopez is probably my favorite guy for a large field tournament.
Okay, good stuff. Beer, I want to get your thoughts here on the pitchers. First off, is there anyone in the New York game or Boston game where we have that weather concern that you plan on playing?
As at pitcher?
Yeah, at just a pitcher.
I mean, definitely not Baltimore, Boston. And I know there's some believers in Lucas Giolito still. I'm not going there. As bad as Baltimore's been, I still like that matchup for them. And Morton has been the guy they've been saying all day. I know there's still some questions, but if it's Rogers, it's Morton. I'm not touching either of them. As far as the Mets, Kershaw, I'm not going there. Canning is intriguing. I still think he's pitching a little bit above his head right now. And the price is going up as he's putting these numbers on the board. So Canning's probably the only one, I would think. Maybe some Giolito out there for people, but nobody I'm looking at. Roth, I hate this pitching slate. I think it's awful. Like, yes, we have big names, but, you know, TJ hit on a few of them. Zach Wheeler at 11,000 in that ballpark. This is a team that doesn't strike out a lot. He struggled with them the first start. So it's just really a lot to pay. I mean, are you going to pick Zach Wheeler over the Yankees with a team total of 700? I mean, I'm not going there. I agree with TJ. I think Sale's the guy. As far as the savings, the upside, it's not a great matchup, but he's thrived in some tough matchups. So he gives you that strikeout upside. My guy is Kikuchi. I don't like seeing that ownership up in the 30s. So cash games definitely, ownership-wise, you can still get different and make him work and very consistent with the strikeouts. You know, not going to go out there and mow down 10, 11 hitters, but I believe it's 5 or more strikeouts in 8 of his 10 starts this season. So I do like him. Schmidt is intriguing. Coors is always risky, but it's the Rockies, and you have that offense behind you. So he's probably my favorite in the mid-range. And then I'm intrigued with this Noah Cameron character from Kansas City. Hasn't shown a ton of strikeout upside yet in his 2 starts, but was much better in the minors with the strikeouts. No Buxton for Minnesota, so you take one of their better bats out. Now, I do like some of the Minnesota bats as well, so kind of a double-edged sword here, but I think Noah Cameron, a guy that's probably going to go overlooked tonight, and a guy I think has more upside than what we've seen. The fantasy points have been there, just haven't seen the strikeouts. I think he's worth a shot in GPPs.
Yeah. Good stuff. Beer, did get a question from Jerry. FanDuel Cash. You need one pitcher in cash. Who's your favorite?
I'm probably, it's Sale or Kikuchi. So depending on Sale, they're pretty close over there. So I'll say Sale, a little riskier. Kikuchi's a little safer, but Sale, I think, gives you much higher upside, obviously. So I'll say Chris Sale there.
Okay, good stuff. TJ, if you're playing cash, you got a favorite. Let's say you're playing cash on DK, just to answer anybody over there. Who you playing?
DK for me would probably be Sale, Kikuchi. FanDuel for me would probably be Wheeler, just because the price between Wheeler and Sale is way tighter, way closer.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Mr. Richard says, I think I'm going to make a stand. I will fade Baltimore, Boston. If I'm wrong, I lose. Here's what I'll say is, if you can, don't make that choice yet. Let's give it enough. We've got people watching the game. The tarp is on right now. They're talking with the grounds crews. I'm not surprised the tarp is on, right? It's raining. But if they want to play on time, they're going to have to pull the tarp in the next 20 minutes. If we see them pull the tarp and they start warming up, then play your dudes. If the tarp is still on 5 minutes before the game, then we've got an issue. Don't play it. I think making up your mind now is the wrong choice. And if you can punt that choice 20, 25 minutes, you will probably be in a much better position. So that's what I would encourage if you can do it. I realize if you're playing 150 lineups, that kind of pivoting can be difficult, but that's what I think you should do.
And it's a 12-game slate, so you can fade a game and be okay. You're going to have multiple games that go off. You're always going to have a couple teams that do more than we expect at low ownership. So I don't think it's a fade that game and you lose. So you take your stance. Are you going to fade the Yankees? That's the dice roll, and then you may lose very well with that team putting up 15 runs.
Let's talk about some of those bats and some of those stacks, and that's a pretty good segue to it. Beer, I'm going to let you lead us off. You mentioned Yankees right off the top. Are they at the top of the list?
Yeah, that you don't see many 7.5s on run total, so it's just such a smash matchup. They're expensive, but there are some cheaper pieces at the bottom of the lineup. You can make it work. I think there's enough value overall in the slate where I'm not going to say you have to have exposure. I don't believe you have to have anything in DFS, but they're clearly the top stack. So we don't need to spend a lot of time on that one. I like both sides of this Red Sox-Orioles game. Even if it is rainy, I think the longer we wait here, nobody's really going to be on it. So I'm kind of hoping the news kind of kicks down the line a little bit, and maybe we get it at low ownership. But it's just such a good matchup, especially if it's Morton. Then Boston lefties should have a field day. And again, I'm not a big believer in Giolito, so I even like the Baltimore side there. The Mets are intriguing tonight.
Someone in chat just said it got postponed, but I don't know.
No,
if that's real.
he said Boston game postponed. I don't know if that means it actually happened yet, or if they're. We'll see. Give it a minute. He might just be calling it.
Boston.
Somebody else said Red Sox lineup is posted.
All right,
so let's keep watching a little bit. We're not quite under the gun. We still have 35 minutes here.
So the Mets, I like against Kershaw. This is I'm not just reacting to his one start that we've seen, which was horrible. He's on the back nine of that career. So a lot of righties in that lineup, a lot of cheap righties. Vientos was scratched though, so there's some other opportunities there. And then Tampa Bay on FanDuel, especially. I don't think there's anybody over 3,200 over there, so you're getting really good value on the Rays over on FanDuel.
Yeah, and the weather there is phenomenal. It's 90 degrees, wind gently blowing out. Big fan of the hitting weather there in Tampa. TJ, talk me through some of your favorite stacks.
Yeah, so those are two of my favorites if we can play that game. Baltimore and Boston are going to be two of my highest owned stacks today. Absolutely love Tampa Bay in that great weather going up against Toronto. And I actually like Toronto on the same side of it as well, going up against Rasmussen. This is a slate where I'm going to keep a really tight pitching pool and spread out my stacks. Yes, I'll still play the Yankees. I love the Angels today as a really cheap option, as well as the Rangers as a cheap option. Those would be my two favorite cheap stacks. And then just kind of like an overall top five, I would go Tampa, then Boston, then Baltimore, then the Angels, then the Dodgers.
Okay, good stuff. Just got a notification from RotoGrinders. Oh, Salvador Perez has been scratched. Anytime I get the notifications, I'm like, did a game get postponed? What's it going to be? Nope. Salvi Perez scratched. Let's go ahead. By the way, have you guys noticed, is Twitter down?
It's back up now, but it's been down for the last 2 days.
Okay. Because I'm posting stuff like about a significant game that might get rained out, and I have had literally zero engagement. Usually people are like, I'm at the game. Here's what I'm seeing. Total, just absolute crickets. So I feel like something's going down. Anyways, let's go around the horn. We'll talk position by position, and I'll try to keep you guys updated on the weather as best I can, assuming that my Twitter is functioning. TJ, what are we doing at the catcher spot?
Let me switch over here on the screen share. There we go. Cal Raleigh is actually going to be my highest owned catcher today. As you can see, Austin Wells is projecting like the top optimal choice in Coors, but paying almost $5K for Austin Wells also feels tough. If the game plays, I like Connor Wong as a full-out punt. My favorite option, though, overall is probably Danny Jansen at 2,700. With maybe JT Realmuto or Will Smith as my next top options, but Rowley and Jansen are going to be in about 30% of my lineups today.
Okay, Beer, your thoughts, catcher?
I think it's a great spot to save some money. So I agree on Danny Jansen. I'm always a fan of Cal Raleigh, but do we want to allocate that money there when we have so many cheap options? So Jansen's my top play there. Ryan Jeffers, pretty cheap here. So again, I think Noah Cameron's interesting. I could also see Minnesota getting to him. So Jeffers a little bit more expensive than Jansen. You got Dingler for Detroit hitting cleanup. So that's an intriguing spot at a cheap price point. And then Caratini at 3K. So all those guys right in that, $2,700 to $3,200 range. I'm saving there rather than spending up on guys like Raleigh and Wells tonight.
Okay, very good. Beer, take me to first base.
First base, Yankees are every position. So if I don't name a Yankee, they're playable at every. Even our boy DJ LeMahieu, who let us down. I was waiting for Kirk Dees to send me a message like, "Come on!" Now it is a homecoming game, so maybe we try it again, but we'll let that one die. So both Yankees in play, Rice and Goldschmidt. I really like Pete Alonso tonight against Clayton Kershaw. If we get this Baltimore-Boston game, I think both O'Hearn and Mountcastle are in play. I prefer O'Hearn. Mountcastle a little bit cheaper, so some flexibility there. Yandy Diaz, first third base eligible, 4,600 on DraftKings. Price is going up a little bit. He's a steal on FanDuel at 2,900, so much more valuable over there. And then I think the Texas guys are interesting for value. Jake Berger and Jock Peterson. I just continue playing. He's cheap. Yes, it's boom bust, but generally not a spot you want to save money on. But if you need to go cheap, I think both Berger and Jock in play.
I'm seeing from Derek in the chat, Boston Crew prepping the field, no tarp. If I can get that confirmed by one or two other people, then I assume we're on and we're playing, because it's raining now as hard as it will rain all night long, and it will kind of taper off. So if they play on time, they're playing. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
We're not out of outfield yet, but just a quick shout out for it that Wilyer Abreu is not in the Boston lineup.
Saw that, and he didn't play game one either, I don't think. So I don't know what's going on with that. Also saw Bregman had some kind of injury in the first game.
Yeah, he hurt himself in that first one.
He's not going to be playing this game either. So Abreu was a 6-pack play, so we'll come up with a substitute for him as we roll here.
Very good. We're not drinking 5 beers. We want 6 of them. So go ahead.
Full 6-pack, Roth, always.
Right. Yeah. Okay, first base, I think it's TJ's turn at first, if I'm not mistaken.
First baseman for me today, the most guy I'm getting to the most is Jake Berger. Just been on absolute fire since he's been called back up. He's nice and cheap. He's my top guy here by a fairly wide margin. Yandy Diaz, Ryan O'Hearn, Vlad Jr., Ben Rice, and Nolan Shanuel, my next group. And then it is very rare that we're going to get a single-digit Shohei Ohtani, and that's exactly what we're getting tonight, so he's great as well.
Very good. Do want to note the tarp is still on the field. Maybe there was a shot where it looked like it wasn't, or either way, it is on the field. So still in kind of wait-and-see mode there with what they're doing with this rain. Second base, TJ, what do you like?
Second base, maybe we'll adjust right now, especially if we're not going to get a Baltimore lineup in the next couple minutes, and if we're not going to get that tarp update. But right now I have 30% Jackson Holiday. He is my favorite second baseman by a fairly wide margin. Tough if we're not going to be able to play those games. I'll absolutely adjust, but this is a spot that I'm looking to get a little bit different. So I'm doing some spending up for Ketel Marte. I think he's in a really great spot. I like going cheap with a punt to Angel Martinez, who is batting second today for Cleveland. And then even though it's lefty-lefty, love Brandon Lau in this spot for Tampa Bay as well.
Okay, good stuff. Beer, your thoughts at second base, please.
I agree. Jackson Holiday is my favorite as well, so we'll see what happens there. I think there's plenty of options here, though. High end, I like Ketel Marte against Michaelis. Good value at this position. Colt Keith, Riley Green not playing tonight was kind of a surprise. They came out and said, things aren't going well right now. Some of these guys need some rest. So Colt Keith hitting in that 3-hole at just 2,800. And then there's some cheap pieces in Boston, Baltimore. I'm going to continue to talk about David Hamilton, Jorge Mateo. So I want to take a look at that lineup and see if Hamilton is in there real quick. TJ, I haven't seen the lineup populate yet. So
no David Hamilton. It's Duran, Devers, Ref Snyder, Story, Sogard, Toro, Campbell, Wong, and Rafaela, which also tells me that Boston still has no idea who's going to be pitching for the Baltimore, because if they thought it was going to be Morton, they probably wouldn't have Ref Snyder batting third. But if they thought it was going to be Trevor Rogers, they definitely would have Campbell and Wong higher up. So what that's telling me is they are just they're guessing like we are.
Okay.
All right. So, and then a couple FanDuel specials here at second. Sam Haggerty is second base eligible, leading off for Texas at just 2,300. He's only outfield on DraftKings. So if you don't like this position, that could be a way to go. Jorge Polanco is 49 on DraftKings, I think, just 3,100 on FanDuel. And then Christopher Morel is second base eligible on FanDuel here as well. He's hitting cleanup. I like him on both sites, but if you can slide him into this position, good power there for Christopher Morel on the cheap.
Okay, good stuff, Beer. Take me to third base, please.
Rafael Devers, my favorite bat on this entire slate outside of, the Yankees. But I love Devers tonight. I don't care who's pitching. He's starting to heat up. So he's my favorite there. Moncada at 4-5 if you need a little bit of savings. I do like Ryan McMahon hitting cleanup against the Yankees. We mentioned Yandy Diaz, first base, third base eligible. Royce Lewis, just 3.2K. So that's a great buy low. We saw the tear that Royce Lewis went on. I like him against the lefty. Again, couple FanDuel things. Morel can be played at third base. Polanco can move here as well, just 3-1. And then the jack of all trades. Have you guys seen Josh Smith has eligibility, I believe, at every single position on FanDuel? First, second, third, short, outfield. So he's expensive on DraftKings, 4,500, but just 2,700 on FanDuel. So you can kind of utilize him at a spot. Maybe you don't see anything you like, and get some good value there and good price.
Like an added util man.
It's crazy. I've never seen somebody with every single position eligibility. Insane.
Got to play him just for that, man. Let's go to TJ. Your thoughts at third, and then I'll. You know what? I'll just say it now. I'm increasingly nervous that we're going to get a late start in this Mets game, and if we don't, I think we've got a pretty good shot at getting an early delay. So I don't like pitchers in that game. If we get the late start, I become a little bit nervous about bats because there's right after this shower, there's another one an hour away. And then after that one, there's another one an hour away. And just that timing can be very annoying because it's hard to get any game going before more rain arrives. I would put it at maybe yellow-orange at this point. Not overly scared, but there is a little bit of risk there in New York. TJ, what do you think at third?
Josh Jung is going to be my favorite guy here at third base today. Only 3,600. Him and Berger are like my favorite mini stack on the slate. I don't necessarily love the full stack of Texas. It's fine though. But Jung and Berger, my two favorite salary savers on the slate. Rafael Devers is my favorite spend up. Jose Ramirez is my other. So those three are the only players I'm planning on wanting off at the position. Everybody else is only in stack for me.
Okay, good stuff. Take me to short, TJ.
All right, there we go. New set of lineups just got in. So it's unfortunately seems like every single position, my highest owned player is in that Boston-Baltimore game. So I'm going to be scrambling big time on the fly if we get the no on that one. But Gunnar Henderson, by far my favorite play here at the position. Mookie Betts, my second highest owned. Zach Nato, number 3. Not as strong of a position as it usually is. So if you want to mix in like some guys in a nice weather game, Caballero or Bo Bichette, I'm fine with that. You want to play some Tovar as a one-off, I'm good with that. You want to play Trey Turner or Francisco Lindor, that's all good too. It's going to be a very spread out position today. I'm basically just of the mind that play anybody other than Anthony Volpe. Like even if you're stacking up the Yankees today, just use one of these other good shortstops and don't play an above 5K Volpe and play 5 other Yankees.
Sure. Okay. Good stuff. Beer, your thoughts at short?
Yeah, Volpe is fine. Again, every Yankee is in play here. I'm with TJ. I really like Hunter Henderson tonight. I love Nato as well. Carlos Correa, I think, is a good saving spot here. So we keep mentioning a bunch of Twins. That's another cheap stack. If you don't believe in Cameron like I do, I'm probably going to have a little bit of both, to be honest. So Correa just 3.4, and Josh Smith again can go here at 2,700. Cold there, but I believe we do have some nice winds blowing out in Chicago. So Josh Smith, jack of all trades.
Okay. I believe that brings us to the outfield. Beer, what are we doing there?
Mr. As he's known here, I live in Detroit area. Not Kerry Carpenter, but Kerry Bonds is one of my favorite plays here tonight. The guy absolutely mashes right-handed pitching. Very good against the four-seam fastball, which he'll see a good dose of here tonight. So really like his prospects tonight. I know they got shut out last night. I think they bounced back in a big way here tonight. Corbin Carroll against Michaelis. I think this is a great pivot off of Coors here. The guy's playing at an incredible level. Some other names, Cedric Mullins, if we get that game in. We mentioned Christopher Morel hitting cleanup, 3.8 on DK, cheap on FanDuel. Starling Marte, another value at 3.2. And Tyler Ward remains too cheap. And then FanDuel, again, you have Haggerty at just 2.3. And Julio Rodriguez, who we have subbed in for Willer Abreu in the 6-pack. Only 3,300 on FanDuel. So good value on Julio Rodriguez. He is your 6th pick today in the 6-pack.
Okay, very good. TJ, your favorites in the outfield?
All right. I love the Kerry Carpenter call today. He is going to be one of my favorites as well. Just getting a new set of lineups in here, and my laptop's freezing on me and not letting me switch tabs anyways. So we're gonna F it and do it live, just like that
do
one
it live
viral clip there. There we go. Cedric Mullins and Taylor Ward, my 2 favorites here, the only 2 guys that I'm running over 20% of. I love Kyle Schwarber in this spot, lefty, low ownership. They're playing in a tiny park in Sacramento. It's good weather there too. And I kind of feel like everybody's forgetting about the Phillies today just because they're leaving Coors Field. So love me some Kyle Schwarber. Love the Julio Rodriguez call. I got 16% of him. And then Ohtani, Carroll, Judge. I have the same amount of Ohtani and Carroll as I do Judge. If that bites me in the butt, it bites me in the butt. Just one of those days that like Judge could have a home run, a double, and 3 RBIs and not be optimal because he's 7K.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do some home run calls, right? We've gone position by position. We've talked some pitchers. Let's talk some bombs. TJ, I'm looking at the bottom here. We've got the Spidey bomb scrolling. Teoscar Hernandez, some juicy odds there at 525. Varsho plus 400. Josh Young at 625. We got our 4th Spidey bomb at 150 likes. How close are we?
7 likes away, so very close.
Man.
And I'm not positive, but I actually don't think it's a soft J. Like, I don't think it's a Hispanic or Latino name. I actually think it's Josh Young. I could be way off on that, though.
I always heard it as Josh Young. Like
either
Steve
I'm
Young.
an idiot or everybody else is an idiot. So chances are it's me.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Somebody in the chat probably knows. They're a fan of the team. Beer, why don't you give me some home run picks here? Something, everybody's on, and then something, middle of the pack, something sneaky.
I got a little bit of everything. So a couple around plus 400, the aforementioned Mr. Kerry Bonds plus 375. Love the price on Devers, seeing him as high as plus 390. And then if we get this game in Baltimore, Cedric Mullins at plus 600. I think Jackson Holiday I saw at almost plus 900. So love that Baltimore bat. So those will be the long shots for me. You get the little porch in Fenway, so those guys can pop a little fly ball down there. But Mullins and Holiday, I think are priced a little bit too high right now.
Okay, good stuff. TJ, I'm thinking we got 7 likes just in the amount of time that Beer was going through that. At the very least, we're close enough, right? Throw the people a bone.
Yeah, we can throw the people a bone here. I'm sure we're close enough too, but since my laptop is being annoying, I can't actually check. So we're just going to trust you, everybody. And we're going to ask one more time that you smash that like button for us.
Oh,
and
come on, get that. What are we asking for? 100 likes?
150, which I'm sure we actually have. I just can't actually switch tabs right now. So I think we got it. But we'll go next one. We'll go Taylor Ward plus 450. Red hot fire. I don't know why this dude's price has not been raised on DraftKings yet. He should be about $1,000 more expensive, much like Kerry Carpenter. So we'll go Taylor Ward at plus 450 for the final one.
Okay, very good. You heard it here. By the way, the people in the chat say, it's a young man's game, spelled Jung, which I thought was pretty clever. Apparently, it is with a Y, not a J. Let's see. J3 says, "Hey TJ, love the Agents of Fandom hoodie that you're rocking there. That's pretty cool.
I'm loving the old school RotoGrinders shirt that Roth's rock. I mean, where'd that color come from? They must have not had that in the big man size.
I have worn this thing out. It's like threadbare. It is the shirt that I wear maybe more than anything else in my wardrobe. And yeah, I've been rocking this for like 10 years. I absolutely love it. Let's see here. We did most of the things we came here to do. We want to open it up to some questions. I believe we have roughly 15 minutes until lock, which is a good time. So make sure you get your QQs in. And in the meantime, make sure you get yourself the best deal in the industry. MLB DFS annual option, $425. But because we're nice, we have dropped the price of our Combo Pro product to mirror the MLB annual package. So you're getting more stuff for the same price. You're getting all the sports except NASCAR for the same price as you would get baseball. And if you do 6 months instead of month by month by month by month, you actually save 35%, which is pretty awesome. So make sure you're doing it now. Sign up. MLB projections, NBA content, PGA data, NFL stuff right around the corner. All good stuff happening here. Let's see what we've got. Jumping
Dutch and German. Why is it Josh Young? Why is it pronounced that way?
I have no idea.
I just went on a deep dive into like this person, into this guy's like heritage, and I'm trying to figure out linguistically why it's a soft J.
Yeah, I do not know the etymology behind the soft J there. Let's go to Foul Course question. And Beer, I'm starting with you. Ooh, speaking of names I can't pronounce. Ciccone to get the lineup I like, or Kikuchi?
Oh, yeah. I struggle with his name, too. Ciccone, I don't know. So his issue is lefties. So the matchup got a little bit better without Riley Green. So I'm not a huge fan of his. So I would probably go with the other set.
Yeah. Wilson Contreras has been scratched. I don't know if that's news that is just breaking or if we knew that earlier, but that is coming in according to my old RotoGrinders push alerts. Let's see if we got any questions coming in. We do. Here we go. TJ.
If the tarp is still on in Boston.
Yeah, I think last check I saw a couple minutes ago, tarp still on.
I wish Twitter search wasn't just absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And so I could actually just search tarp Boston like I used to and have a whole bunch of things come up. Yeah. Right now, if I search tarp Boston, it's about a college protest from over a year ago.
I was going to say probably from 4 years ago.
Yeah. Can you go to latest? Scroll to latest instead of
still
top?
That makes it even worse.
Steve Jones says tarp still on.
Okay.
Same with Derek. Still on.
If
tarp is on live.
Yeah. I hate to say this. I think what they probably end up doing, since they're waiting this long, is just playing it at like 9 o'clock when the rain is a little bit lighter and late starting for a few hours. But it is not a safe play. Like, it is absolutely not safe. It will rain roughly the way it's raining now for another hour, hour and a half. And then it gradually gets lighter. And then sometime around 10 o'clock Eastern, we're going to be done with the rain. But it's raining pretty decent right now.
Don't you think they would have called it by now if they, I know some teams are, this is already a doubleheader. So you scratch that. Now you got to create another doubleheader. And there's people that could have been hanging out since the end of the first game.
And that's why I think they're probably going to stick it out at this point. They almost seem kind of pot committed, Beer, like they would have just called it. So I think that they're probably planning on waiting out and playing it late, but I absolutely do not have like a strong take on that. It's not even a weather question. It's just a, what are they going to do about the weather question? So if you do not want any risk in your lineup, I would say don't play the dudes. I personally think they probably will play at this point. A late start looks damn likely since it's 10 minutes away. But they want to get the game in. I think they can get the game in tonight. It will clear 9, 10 o'clock or so, and it will be playable later tonight. Hang on. Did Mr. Greg just say?
Mr.
I don't know if that's an official.
We're getting some PPDs in the chat.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's official.
I already muted one person. I already gave somebody a 30-minute timeout for calling it a PPD when it didn't happen.
Yeah, you'll
get put in timeout.
Yeah, you'll get put in timeout for that nonsense. Only say that if it's official, not if it's a guess. All right, let's just go through some questions. And
tonight's game has been postponed.
There we go. Okay.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you guys scramble. Silent.
Get your Boston and your Baltimore out of your lineups. We got 10 minutes to lock. Get your Boston and Baltimore out.
All right. I'm going to let you guys be silent for just a minute because as you guys are adjusting lineups, I need to try to tweet this here. And I want to get to some of these questions as well. Beer, how much adjusting do you have right now?
Quite a bit, but yeah. I was prepared for this, so it shouldn't take me too long. Yeah, as much as I love that game, you have to have a backup plan. If you just start scrambling, then you're just putting guys in that are similar priced, you got to have a plan.
I'm also good at multitasking, Roth, so feel free to ask me questions as well.
So someone said, what game? The Boston game, to be clear. The Boston game has been postponed officially. So the Boston game is no longer on the slate. You have 7-8 minutes, I believe, to get those dudes out of your lineup. Lock is at 6:05. So you don't have a whole lot of time to make that change. All right, I'm going to see if I can get a few questions in. I will let you guys do a little adjusting. Fred says, TJ, small field, DK 3-man, Caratini, Dominguez, Job, or Kikuchi, Ward, and Diaz. What the hell is that? Okay, I'm sorry. Caratini, Dominguez, Job, Kikuchi, Ward, Diaz.
Second one.
Okay, very good. I need to update my web page because Twitter is busted and people are probably going to my weather page to try to find out what's going on. Boston. Ooh, buddy, that was fun. I'm glad they didn't wait another like 4 minutes, you know?
New set of lineups are in, and I am not even going to go through them and check them out and see what's what. I'm just going to put them right in.
Just see what's be surprised at what you got. Cody says, TJ, Colt Keith or Angel Martinez. Isn't that?
I like Martinez better. I'm a little worried Keith gets pinch hit for if the lefty comes in.
Who am I thinking of that's the terrible ref that everyone hates? Is it Angel Hernandez? Is that
Angel Hernandez, I think? Yeah.
Okay. When I saw Angel Martinez, I was thinking that name and got very confused. Let's see. By the way, all the Boston people, Bobby says, I'm in Boston and it's not raining. Somebody else says, I'm in Boston and I live north of Boston. It's not raining. Well, friends, it is raining and it is postponed. Okay, what else do we have? Scrolling down a little bit. TJ, is Slade Caccione bound to get chunnel caked tonight? Is there going to be a Caccione chunnel caking?
Probably going to be a chunnel caking, but it is about as weak of a Detroit lineup as we have seen. Yeah. So I like them a lot better as a mini stack. Perry Carpenter and maybe a couple others as opposed to a full stack.
Okay, very good. Beer, this one's for you. Large field DK tournament. What do you think about stacking Mariners and Astros tonight?
I don't mind it. It's going to have no ownership. I'd prefer the Seattle side. It's also the more expensive side, you know, if you're going to put Cal Raleigh in there. So Houston, I just like the matchup for Seattle against Gusto a little bit better. So stacking the whole game, if they're saying that, not bad. You're going to get low ownership. And these are two pitchers that we didn't even discuss. So fine with it.
Okay. More questions coming in. TJ, Jorge Mateo says Riley or Caminero, DK Cash.
Wow. That is, I guess, Riley. Like, I like the spot for Caminero way better. Riley's just a much better player. Let me double check their projection just to make sure I'm not leading them astray. Yeah, it's still slightly Riley.
Yeah, we gotta be quiet. Cody says Beer, Royce Lewis and Jeremy Pena or Josh Young and JP Crawford.
I love Royce Lewis. Any six-pack watchers, we did make some adjustments here last minute with the postponement. So Royce Lewis is in for Devers, and we are going Zach Nato in place of Gunnar Henderson. So, but as much as I love Royce Lewis, I like the second combo a little bit better with Josh. Don't call me Young, Josh Young and JP Crawford.
Well said. I actually take back my last one too. I like Caminero more than Riley.
Okay, very good. We'll go to my guy Black, who says, TJ, your favorite FanDuel pitcher in a GPP?
On FanDuel, I actually still think it's Wheeler just because he's a lot easier to get to.
Okay. Beer, Rice or Grisham, FanDuel Util?
Give me Rice.
Okay. TJ, right back to you here. Molly or Lopez, single entry on DraftKings?
Lopez.
Yeah. Ben Rice, Beer, this is coming back to you. Are you all done adjusting lineups, Beer?
Yeah.
You get your guys out?
Yep.
Very good. All right. Ben Rice or BMP Pete Alonso, DKGPP.
I'm going to say Pete Alonso here. Low ownership, a little bit of pivot off of the Yankees. So I think Pete Alonso sends one out tonight.
Okay, very good. Got some questions coming in. Brink says, hey, Roth, now that the Boston game is officially postponed, can you take a quick look at the Mets game? Yeah, that's a good idea, honestly. Let's just double check how things are looking there. We'll pull up a little radar.
Look at Roth multitasking. We're just fixing lineups. You know, he's got kids. He's got weather. This is impressive.
I got a lot happening. So it's about to start raining pretty good in New York, and I'm surprised that they haven't announced a late start. I hope they just play on time, because if they get in that late start, thank you, sweetheart. If they get in that late start, it could be a long wait with more storms coming. I think they're going to figure out a way to play in New York one way or another. I just don't exactly know the specifics of that. So that's kind of where I stand on New York. A late start wouldn't surprise me. In-game delay, multiple delays, but there's just not that much rain, and they should be able to play. Beer, Texas or Houston stack with the Yankees? Who do you prefer?
Texas.
Okay. TJ, back to you. Your favorite value stack, Astros, Twins, or Rays?
Oh, Rays for sure. By far of those three.
Yeah.
Okay. TJ, right back to you here. We have, let's see, 2 minutes until lock. 2 minutes until lock. Blink says Wheeler with a Yankees 5-man on DraftKings large field tournament. A couple one-off plays at the rest of the positions. Is that different enough to win it all? Wheeler with a Yankees 5-man. Oh, and a couple off-the-wall plays. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, I think so if you can make it work, because you're picking the top raw points pitcher and the top raw points stack, but that's not a combo that's going to be very easy to get to. So if you're just going with 3 full-out random punts to make it work, I don't think it's that crazy.
Okay, good stuff. Important question here. Beer, I'm giving this one to you. Knicks or Pacers? Who you got? Knicks or Pacers?
I think the Pacers steal another one. It's probably not the popular consensus opinion here. I'm sure most expect the Knicks to bounce back here, but I like the heart of this Pacers team. I mean, they just play hard. They play the right way. To come back in that game, impressive. So did they suck the confidence right out of the Knicks with that comeback? So I think Indiana punches them in the mouth again tonight, Roth. So
yeah, and that's like what's good about the Knicks team is they're all heart and hustle, and that's all fun and games. But so are the Pacers. Like, that team plays hard, and they might just have a little bit more like well-rounded talent to be able to fight with the Knicks, and then also just have a little bit of an advantage there.
I think the depth too. I mean, these Knicks starters played so many minutes per game throughout the regular season. I mean, that takes its toll at some point. So this more depth. I think the Pacers take it.
Yeah. At some point, if he's already considered this, then never mind. But at some point, I think we have to start considering Rick Carlisle among the very best coaches of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's very, very legit. TJ, FanDuel, DJ or Volpe? Who do you like?
Neither, but I'd go DJ because he's cheaper.
Okay.
DJ.
Oh, if they're the same price, then on FanDuel Util, I would go Volpe.
Okay, very good. Bean says thoughts on Lauer. I don't know a Lauer. Beer, do you know a Lauer?
Well, he's your basic average starting pitcher, left-hander. I would avoid
throw
it.
about 70 pitches.
Yeah, no pitch count, no upside. I'm staying away from it.
Yeah, not on this one. All right, good stuff. Well, we are seconds away from lock. In fact, we have just hit the lock, and with that, I've got some things to take care of, including cuddling a little one. So we are going to clear on out of here. For Beer, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.